right. Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Gatso, and welcome to P1's broadcasting coverage of Championship Sunday, Round 9 of Season 8 of the longest-running DW12 series on iRacing today. It's a dark horse racing series presented by the Joy of Driving, coming to you tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Watchman Indy 250, our final race of the season. And one way or another, we are crowning a champion tonight. And joining me, as always, back in the booth with me is the Catalyst, Andrew Wood. Andrew, good to have you here. And Andrew, we talked about this in the pre-race. The big story here today, as I have all my overlays still up right now because I've been scrambling getting into today's session. The big story here today is we've had 8 races, 8 different winners. So can we go 9 for 9? And on that note, can the 9th winner be our points leader, who has the scenario to win the championship tonight if everything falls his way, and that is Mark Murphy? Or does he go winless and become kind of a footnote in IndyCar sim racing history, much like in IndyCar history, with only 2 drivers have won the national championship without a win? So what do you think coming into this final race of the season?
Yeah, Gary, good to be with you, and I want to apologize to everyone in advance if my voice starts to crack later on. I've been dealing with a little bit of a sore throat issue this weekend, but we're gonna roll with it, and we're doing just fine for now. But you know something, as you were just talking about that championship situation, I'm sure in Mark Murphy's case, it's weighing on him that he has gone this whole season without a win, because he is a winner in this series and all the series that he runs. So I'm sure it's weighing on him, and I almost wonder if he's thinking what's more important to him would be a championship win or a win at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which is something that all these drivers really, really consider as something that they need to lock down in their iRacing career. I really do think that it's going to be win or bust for Murphy. So if he is thinking points, I'm not thinking he's in that frame of mind, but I could be wrong, and that's going to be a very interesting storyline. We'll have to see how he races as we go on, but it's definitely a very interesting storyline that we've gone every race this season with a brand new winner, and it could be possible that we go the whole season with different winners in every race, which would be pretty awesome.
And here's your starting lineup for tonight. Edson Santos on the pole, a driver that has experience at this place. Right next to him is the last race winner, Craig Forsyth. Clindy on row 2, but I do not see him in the lineup. I don't know if he's going to load in from pit road or not. Gary Lovern with a great run in row 2. Murph, that is one of our championship contenders. He's in row 3. Peterson right next to him with a win this season. Albrecht joining the series for Indianapolis in row 4. Mason Mitchum and also joining him alongside. Luis Gonzalez Nunez, one of the points challengers coming into today, but he has a very slim chance, and right now it might not even be a mathematical possibility anymore. And then Casey Povolonis rounding out the top 10. Stouffer and Teed, Martins and Coker, Vitor and Hysong, Wags and Brubacher, Stern and the Prodigy rounding out the top 20. Then we got Schaus, who's in the chance for the championship to go back-to-back. Johnson, Pahutsky, Gallus, and Hayes. And that rounds out your 25-car field. Not a bad lineup here for the final race of the season.
Everybody wants to make a splash here at the Indy 500, even if it's just kind of a one-off. It's one of those things where you need to show up to this race in order to make yourself see how competitive you are against guys that race it. So we're about to go green here.
And we are spreading out 4 wide in the back. But it is Edson Santos going into turn 1. Clindy starting from pit road, and here comes Murph.
Looks like Mark Murphy takes the lead there into turn 2 and holds off Edson a little bit. And of course, here we go with the snake situation down the back straight, which we always see here at the Indy 500. So very, very busy 2 wide formations going on through much of the top 15.
It's 100 laps tonight, doing 250 miles. Murph trying to break the draft already, and he is down to the inside along pit road, now swinging it back out high in the completion of lap 1.
Clean throughout the field. Everybody gets through lap 1 safely and nicely, and yeah, it looks like Murph holds on to the lead here, and we'll have to see if people challenge him for it or if the fuel save initially begins, because that's definitely something that we always take into account here in Indy as we see Edson's going for the lead. So it doesn't look like there's any fuel saving going on for the top 2 or so, but I wouldn't mind seeing Chris Albrecht or Craig Forsyth, especially Craig Forsyth, start a fuel save run here as we complete lap 2.
What we're expecting tonight, we're at 95% fuel. So it's about 26 laps of what we think what 95% fuel capacity will bring you. The initial thought is people are not sure, drivers aren't sure people can make it 33 to 34 laps percent, but if anyone can, I guess the guess is Forsyth is one of those drivers. Unlimited tires, and right now we're just doing 100 laps, 250 miles on the 2.5 mile oval. So if you start doing the math, does it turn into a 25, 50, 75 type race, or does it turn into a 33, 66, and then do 34 on the final stint type of race?
I think it. Oh, we have a big wreck in turn 1 and 2. Mason Mitchum and a car flipping like crazy. I believe that might be Shane Coker.
Coker, yes.
I was watching the two of them. They were racing very hard down the back straightaway on the last lap. They were going 3 wide. I think Coker was trying to be a little bit advantageous of a little bit of a situation going on, but that culminated into unfortunately Coker I think might be the
is the innocent party in that one. Yeah,
it was what I was looking for. It wasn't coming to me.
Right, and that wreck was very reminiscent of the Scott Dixon, Jay Howard wreck from 2017. Go back and watch this again. And what we're going to see here is 3 wide going in. Mitchum in the Rebel Alliance car. He is up in the high line, and he doesn't make the turn really, and just goes up into the gray, and he grabs the wall, much like Jay Howard did, and it cuts down, and then boom, just over the top of, just like Scott Dixon did, almost in the exact identical spot where Scott Dixon hit the wall in 2017. These guys will be able to tow and then go back and get a fast repair, because there is one fast repair in this league.
It's definitely done early enough where if you get the fast repair done, yeah, you'll be a lap or 2 down, but you could easily get that back with some lucky dog action or whatever is happening around Indianapolis. There's always a means to get yourself back into the race again.
So now we're going to see if anyone's going to make any type of come to pit road and try to turn this into a fuel strategy race.
So you were just talking about doing 25-25 or 26 or something like that. Now it's a free lap or 2 here you'll get under yellow where you'll save some fuel. So that 33 laps might be a little bit more in favor now. So you might see these guys go into a fuel save mode, which will slow the pace down a bit. Some guys in the back are obviously going to want to try and pick up some of that track position. So you might see some takers go very, very long and hope that the strategy feeds them on the back end. So we'll have to see what happens here, because I think now it's a little early for the strategy to open up. If we had gone to lap 10, 12 or so with a caution, I think we might see more variance, but it seems like just everyone at the back is going to pit now, which could put them on a third strategy if need be come the next caution time.
Well, we got plenty of time here since we're under caution. Here are the dark horse points coming into today's race. As you see, Murph with the points lead with 226, 13 over Schaus, then Peterson, Wags, Forsyth, Highsong, and Nunez. The top 7 are mathematically, according to ChatGPT, that's what I'm going to say, because I just plug in the criteria. ChatGPT just gives me what it thinks.
Blasphemy.
I know. So here's what each driver needs. Murphy, in order to clinch the title, needs at least 45 points from this race. Any race win he gets clinches it for him. P2 clinches only if he collects at least 5 bonus points, and he needs to finish P3 if he can't so he needs to finish in 3rd spot with no bonus points, and that would secure him. It doesn't matter what anybody else does. It would secure him the title. What each challenger needs, well, Schaus needs to win with no bonuses. Murphy must score 36 or fewer points, which is P3 or worse with no bonuses. If Schaus sweeps all the bonus, which he has not, because we already have one bonus point awarded, that went to Edson Santos for winning the pole. Murphy must score 43 or fewer, which is P2, and at most 3 bonus points or P3 or worse regardless, and that is for Schaus, 2 scenarios to win. Peterson needs 31 points. He needs a win with no bonuses, and 50 points requires Murphy to get 19 or fewer, which is P11 or worse with no bonuses. And then Murphy needs to also Peterson needs to win with all bonuses, which again cannot be obtained now, which allows Murphy to up to a possibility of getting 26 with P6 or higher with no bonuses. So those are the top 3. And if any of that made sense, hopefully it did. That's it. Basically, the way it's boiling out, and we'll take the points off the screen here, is just basically Murph, whatever he needs to do, finish ahead of all your chief points rivals. But if they're still running while you are, the best thing you need to do is finish 3rd place, and that's it.
Seems like a very long yellow, Gary. I believe we had some pit action going on that might have extended this situation. But yeah, I'm curious to see the length of this yellow period here. So we'll have to see if we get ready to go green here. I believe this should be the green lap.
Yeah, our lights are out on the pace car. So we will go green this time by. Your leader is our points leader, Mark Murphy, looking for that championship. Edson Santos with wins here before in other series. He is 2nd. Christopher 3rd. Chris Albrecht 4th. Craig Forsyth 5th.
Green flag.
And a very slow restart, but we are starting to fan out in the back. But Murph with a good jump going in the 1.
We have a nice clean restart up and down the field. Not a lot of action going on with the checkup situation, and this is the opportunity for some of these guys to really pick up a spot or 2 here, just catching the car ahead, sleeping a little bit.
Luis Gonzalez-Nunez gets around Craig Forsyth on the restart.
Craig is coming back for it, though, and Albrecht is all by himself, just sitting there like a sitting duck as Luis Gonzalez-Nunez goes along the outside, but that inside line is going to be key, especially on the first lap when all these tires are coming back up to temperature and everyone's getting their situation back going again.
Murph to the inside, trying to break the draft.
You actually see Luis Gonzalez-Nunez was doing a little bump draft action on Chris Albrecht there, going down the front straightaway, saying, "Hey, I'm a little faster than you with the draft. Get out of my way." And as you see Craig Forsyth going for that move underneath, I think Albrecht's going to get stuck on the outside here as Gonzalez brings it 3 wide.
3 wide, going down the backstretch into 3. Who's going to blink first? Nope, nobody blinks. It's just the LGN getting on by there as, right behind him, that whole group of cars.
That whole checkup just gets very, very sketchy. It's just, I'm going to put my car somewhere and hope that it works situation, and it worked in this case, and yeah, this group's going to have to work together to catch that top 3. Who's managed to pull a little bit of a gap on them, but they're slowly starting to reel them back in again.
With that early caution, Clindy started from pit road. That allowed him to join the rest of the group. And I'm wondering, Clindy is also kind of a bit of a master at the fuel save, and he did come to pit road along with everybody else. So that next group that came to pit road, that's on that alternate strategy that we were talking about, starts in P12 with Peterson.
It's very easy to take a fuel safe strategy when you're starting from the field because there's not really much else you can do. It's not like you can pass 20 cars and get your way back up there and not have to be one of the first cars to pit. So it's very smart to keep a fuel safe strategy and hope that a yellow advantageously puts you maybe more mid-pack and you work your way up from there. That's always the best way to go about things. But we see the front of this field is getting very, very interesting now as cars are still jockeying for position. So I don't think there's a fuel safe situation really happening right now. Perhaps a few cars, but I would imagine that these guys are running full tilt on their fuel. And we'll see if this still remains a 3 pit stop race.
And Luis Gonzalez Nunez, LGN, gets the purple lap, and he is now up to third. He's your one of your biggest gainers, along with Stouffer, up 9 spots. Nunez up 6 spots. Also further back, Wags up 9 spots. Also, Vitor Gieramy up 6 spots as well. Will Van Stearns up 6 spots as well. Casey Pahutsky up 8. So we got a lot of movement going on through this field right now. Battle for 4th into the short chute, into turns 3 and 4, Forsyth and Albrecht.
Very much a side-by-side situation going on here, and yeah, it's one of those things where you have to really figure out if your speed on the inside is fast enough to get the spot, or if you're going to race side-by-side with these guys and actually lose more tire life or speed just on the inside in general. And it's something these guys are really probably figured out in practice, but it's something you're going to continue to work on as this race goes on and see where your best advantage is, especially on what side of the track you're on. We're pretty much a single file situation at the front right now, so I think people are starting to kind of settle in where they're at. Maybe they make a little bit of moves later on in the stint, but you don't want to push it too much because, like I said, your tire wear is really actually a factor as this race continues on. But
whoa! Sorry,
yes,
Brubacher.
That was very close.
Brubacher and Gary Lovern, wheel to wheel off of turn 2.
I think he banged wheels actually at the exit of 2 there. Hey, Gary, I don't think there's a fuel safe situation going on here.
It doesn't look like it.
If you lift at all, you're just going to get completely run over by everyone. You can tell that these are 40.1 lap times. These guys are really going for it right now. If you're going to save fuel, that's great. You're just going to have to realize you're going to give up 8 to 10 spots if you're at the front. And it's something that's a noble endeavor, especially if you feel like you're not going forward. Why not just lift and save your fuel, save your tires a little bit, and hope that it pays out later in the race? It's so frustrating when you say, okay, well, I'm just going to slow down a little bit to save the fuel and save the tires. But if it pays off for you later on down the run, then it's a very, very small project for you to get into that situation. It's always a balancing act when you come to Indy.
Down the front stretch, getting ready to complete lap 16 of 100. Of course, you know the long history of IndyCar and the Indianapolis 500, the fastest unofficial lap at the Speedway. Arie Luyendyk 2:39.6 set on Fast Friday in 96, so long ago. Single lap official record 2:37.4, the 4-lap official record 2:36.9, all set back by Arie Luyendyk in 96. Those still stand for today. Of course, the 4-lap pole record was set by Alex Palou in 2023 at the speed of 2:34.2. And the official race average, Helio Castroneves, when he got win number 4 in 2021 with a speed of 190.6. And, of course, the Mount Rushmore of Indianapolis are the 4 four-time winners, Alan Sr., A.J. Foyt, Rick Mears, and Helio Castroneves. And then the 3-time winners, Franchitti, Meyer, Rose, Rutherford Shaw, and Bobby Unser. And your current wins leaders here at Indianapolis when they show up in May still, Castroneves still in that part-time schedule. I don't know if he'll be racing again this coming May, but he still has those 4 wins. Takuma Sato, Joseph Newgarden have 2, and now Alex Palou has 1, and he is your defending winner when we come back to Indianapolis next year for the NTT IndyCar Series.
Trying to watch what kind of games these guys at the front are playing with each other. It doesn't look like anyone's really dropped back too much. Everyone's kind of staying within their gap to the car ahead. If they lose a spot, then they'll kind of sit there, and the next lap they'll get it back again. And I think these are all just the kind of games you play when you're at Indy. And we're just over halfway through the run right now, so I imagine probably around, lap 27, 8, 9, somewhere around there, especially with the smaller tanks, we're going to start seeing these guys make their first pit stops. And we'll have to see if those guys at the back strategy pay off.
Oh, car on the wall. Oh, car almost into the inside wall. We do have a car on the wall. That is John Martins, one of our winners from earlier this season. He is currently right front has been disabled. The front wing is now been, and we'll have to see what happens. They were racing pretty. They were slugging it out a lot there back there. And I think he caught dirty air, maybe. No, a little net coat off the inside wall and then bounce it off the wall again. I think he might have,
there.
not sure who he got. Turner Johnson, maybe he got a little net code with Turner Johnson. And the 84 of Hugo Gallas had to go scrambling. He almost hit the attenuator coming into pit road. But no caution.
I was going to say that it's good that iRacing didn't throw a caution there, and these guys can keep racing, because we really do want to see how this strategy plays out with those guys at the back that did the pit stop and are doing a little bit of a fuel save right now, and see how long they can go even once things really start to pan out.
3 wide, one of our championship challengers. Shouts to the inside, Indy Kirkenbauer in the middle. Way up top is Pahutsky. And that STP throwback.
You see that Eric Schaus has not qualified so well, but he's made his way forward a little by little. Some of these guys that are back here are kind of in the middle of figuring out what their strategy is, and I think Schaus is in the mode to try and find some way forward as some of these guys are starting to have some tire wear here, and that's what Eric Schaus is really, really great at. That's how he finds himself getting to the front of these races. So I think he's going to see, okay, Kirkenbauer is going to be a little bit more aggressive to get to the front. Let's see if I can follow him through there, as he almost has a little bit of contact right there.
Oh,
and there's contact, actually.
That is big car, and that takes out Schaus.
Oh, I did not see that coming, Gary. I saw Kirkenbauer, but he missed the bottom a little bit on the entry there, and yeah, that's a shame. Kirkenbauer missed the bottom a little bit and bumped Charles T there, and yeah, that's very unfortunate. I hope I didn't just commentator curse Eric Schaus too bad.
I don't know if Schaus can drive that thing. He might be able to drive it around and get the fast repair. That's what happened right there. As drivers go to pit road, hopefully I don't see black flags for speeding down pit road, so they were able to go down pit road and safely escape.
I mean, Hugo Gallas again. He missed the John Martin's wreck, and he nearly got collected in this one too, Gary. Hugo Gallas would be a great replay to watch.
Yeah, we're going to go back and watch that a little bit for Hugo Gallas as we're trying to cue that up here. And Gallas is just back there running it out, and he's like, okay, I'll keep all this action in front of me, and then, well, all the action occurs right in front of him.
And this is going to really throw there were quite a few cars that were coming to and or in the pits when this caution came out. And I'm wondering if there's anyone that might have gotten a drive-through penalty for a closed pit, because there were cars that were right ahead of where the incident happened and the caution flew. And it's going to take the admins a little bit to figure this out as well, I'm pretty sure.
I don't see any black flags right now.
That's good. Yeah, I don't see anyone that got a black flag cleared or anything like that. But it was very close. Yeah. There were cars that were committing down to the pit entry, and unfortunately, that can catch you out if you just happen to pit at an inopportune time. Well, of course, if you see cars that are spinning ahead of you and hitting the wall and everything,
right.
You're not going to dive into the pit lane. But I thought that it might have caught maybe one or two guys out that were ahead of the incident there. But it looks like everyone got through safely.
If you enjoy our coverage of the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by The Joy of Driving and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing, and while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future P1 iRacing broadcasts. Tonight's Indy 250, the Dark Horse Racing Series, is presented to you all season long by The Joy of Driving. Follow Mark Cohn's sim racing adventures, full of sharp whip and sharp driving. Subscribe on YouTube or follow on Facebook. All the links you need in the description. Tonight's race has also been brought to you by 4D Racewear, sponsors of our leader at the moment. Actually, our leader at the moment is Mason Mitchum, but he's on a different strategy. Leader off pit road is Chris Stouffer. Check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in today's description. And also check out Simrat Market. He's your go-to source for iRacing paint templates and broadcast resources. Simrat Market has everything you need to build your brand on track. Visit simratmarket.com. Download, customize, race. Lap 23 as we're reaching the quarter point right now, and Mason Mitchum does come to pit road. That will turn the lead over to Christopher. I believe we are having a car with a wave around too.
Yeah, the order kind of got thrown around a little bit. Not really too crazy or anything like that, but the strategy kind of didn't really open up too much here. We still have 76 laps left. If people really want to go for a super fuel save, it's possible, but it's going to be very hard, and you're going to need cars around you to do it. You can't stay out as long as you possibly can and then hope that it works out in the second or the final stint. So I still think a fuel save is out of the question. I think people are going to be trying to run with 2 more pit stops.
Lights are out on the pace car. Play Indy's dad's checking in. The CH in Kirchenbauer is pronounced like church, where he may need to go for forgiveness after that crash. Well, actually, I used to take German, and Kirche is actually how you say church in German, so that's how I've been pronouncing it. So blame my German teacher for that in high school for picking up a bad habit I get, but we'll work on the Americanized version of the name. But it's Stouffer, Murphy, Nunez, Albrecht, and Forsyth getting the restart here at lap 25. We are now officially a quarter of the way through this thing, and still not much has changed at the top from where we started this race at. Stouffer up 10 spots, but Murph up 3, Gonzalez up 6, Albrecht up 3, and Forsyth has pretty much been in the top 5 all race long.
I'm just curious, Gary, does this channel yet have a humble brag alert or a soundboard or something like that? Because that sounded very humble braggish to me. if I had to admit, yeah, I learned German. I'm Gary Gotzo. So
I thought I was doing it right the whole time. It's Kirchenbauer, and he's like Kirchenbauer.
Well, it's one of those things that you make the mistake 25 times, you won't make it again. So, yeah, so Indy Kirchenbauer, unfortunately, in that last incident, but there's still plenty of time to get this race back settled again, as, like you mentioned, Stouffer and Murphy seem to have a stranglehold on this field right now, and they're doing the swap draft situation, but they have a hungry... I think Luis Gonzalez Nunez has some fire rejuvenated in him in this race, because he has been on a tear ever since the drop of the green flag. He was kind of hanging back a little bit, but once that middle of the top 10 got bottled up on the last run, he has said, I am going to the front. So it wouldn't surprise me if he tries to break up this Stouffer and Murphy alliance up here in the next few laps here as we continue. Shout out to Chris Albrecht also making a one-off appearance here at Indy and just running with the big guys up front, and someone who feels like they can get their Indy legs under them and show that he deserves to be part of this top running order as well.
He has a pretty decent pedigree, not necessarily in this car at Indianapolis, over in the Elite Racing League. He was among the Fast Six for the Elite Racing League's Indy 500 in May. And, of course, that qualifying, and speaking of Luis Gonzalez Nunez, qualifying for this season, the 2025 B season of the Elite Racing League's Warriors for Peace IndyCar Series with Brubacher going purple that time by 2:28.5 is this Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Elite Racing Network. Me, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, will be bringing you the action. Albrecht will be one of the qualifying drivers. Andrew Wood will be one of the qualifying drivers trying to get into the the field of Fast 33 there for the race that will be next week.
Thank you for reminding me. I'm putting it in my calendar right now because I had it in my head, and I up until now, I've had a very, very busy last 3 days, so I never really considered it. But yeah, it's going to be a very exciting 500. I did quite well last year in the Indy 500, unbeknownst to me, just figuring everything out kind of as I go along. But it's very exciting to be back in Indianapolis again. It's always really great to race here, no matter what the car.
Speaking of the prodigy, there he is, trying to give a wide berth to one of the other Dark Horse racing cars. Don't want to touch that one. Don't take out the teammates. 3 wide, a little bit further on back with Lewis Hayes through the short chute. Coming off the corner, John Martins, Will Stearns side by side. John Martins has got the fast repair, and he is back on the lead lap. In fact, everybody is on the lead lap with the exception of Charlie Teed, who is out of the race, unfortunately. Top 4 starting to pull away a little bit from Wags, Povolotis, Vitor, and let's see, we got also back there Forsyth and Santos.
Oh man, I was just kind of looking to see where Eric Schaus wound up through all that mess too after his incident, and he's found his way very close to the top 10 again. But he's obviously used a fast repair already, so he's going to try and be very careful to make sure he doesn't get himself into another incident again.
Yeah. That's the thing, you know, the fast repair is there to use it, but you don't really want to use it kind of in the first quarter of the race, first half of the race. You want it for something a little bit later, and he's executed it already. So if something else happens...
Ooh, big issue here, Gary. Mark Murphy's making a pit stop. Apparently on the last pit stop, no fuel entered the car, so he has to pit or he's going to run out of fuel. So that's a big blow to Mark Murphy's race right here.
Well, Wag's coming with him. Wag's coming with him. So we had a fuel issue on pit road. You kind of wonder, though, would it have been better, though, if he would have just taken the tires, gone around and come back in and gone through the field, lose a track position, but still stay on the lead lap and everything. So now we're going to see if he can stay on the lead lap here. I
was just going to say, I'm with you, Gary, but you may not know that you didn't take fuel. You just expect it when you're racing. You're saying, okay, I'm in the pits. I'm getting my tires and my fuel. Something might have just gone wrong with a click or a tick box of some sort, playing around with something. And next thing you know, your spotter's telling you you have 2 laps of fuel left in your tank. So it just, everyone falls very complacent when they're taking their pit stops, expecting everything to go just the way that it's supposed to be. But these things happen where mistakes are made, and in the heat of the moment, maybe you're just too relaxed and something goes wrong, and next thing you know, you're under green flag and you're like, oh my goodness, my tank is empty, I gotta come in. So it's very unfortunate. It's happened to all of us one way or another, where we're just not paying attention to something, or it could be just a mistake in general with setting your pit stop. So yeah, unfortunate for Mark Murphy, but the good thing is that at Indianapolis you could pit and not lose a lap. So if he has Matt Wagner with him, hopefully they come out together and they can work themselves together so as to not be overtaken by the leaders that are possibly still doing a swap draft situation. But I believe this puts Luis Gonzalez Nunez in the lead, which, like I mentioned, he was going for it, so now he has Stouffer going for pass over here 3, and I think Stouffer will try and work together, but Chris Albrecht is stuck right with them, and he's just kind of lurking there waiting for his moment to strike.
Yeah, I like what Chris is doing. He just, not Stouffer, Albrecht, he's just hanging out, just sticking with this group. He's not racing them, he's just watching them, keeping everything in front of him, within reach, not extending his reach any, not extending his ability any, just like, I'm going to hang with these guys, let them do the racing, punch a hole in the air, and I'll just follow through it. So now we got Murph and Wags who are working together now, and they are just ahead of the leaders by 4 seconds on the racetrack. There you see the gap behind them to the leaders coming off the main straight as they hit the yard of bricks.
Trying to see how much Eric Schaus has made up. He's kind of coming back through the field a little bit. One of our championship contenders, somebody that unfortunately had that incident earlier. So now he's put himself in a spot where he can't really get himself into trouble again, but he definitely knows what it takes around Indy to bring himself to the front. So I think he's just kind of hanging out for now, right in this small group that he's in, and maybe we'll see what happens. And if we have a green flag pit stop here, if he can make up some spots going forward. But Craig Forsyth also is just kind of hanging out right there, seeing a little bit of fuel, finding his P's and Q's, doing everything he can to keep himself pointed straight without getting himself into trouble. That's what this is all about. This is the nervy middle part of the race where you're like, man, I just hope I can keep it together and see what I can do to get myself forward.
The dog day laps, I like to call them, is when you go to the Indy 500 for real. Basically, from about the half hour leading up to the green flag of the race through about the first 10 15 laps, you're on your feet. And then eventually, it seems like there's a timer in everyone's head in the stands, and they're just like, okay, I've been on my feet long enough. Everyone kind of sits down all at once, and they start going for, and there's a car coming to pit road right now. I'm not sure who that is. Will Van Stearns. This is going to be, oh, caution. Turner Johnson, Hugo Gallas, and a third car. Shane Coker again.
Yeah, big incident. Yeah, it's another car coming to pit situation that puts himself in a spot where things could really go wrong if you enter the pit at the wrong time and everything. And yeah, I think unfortunately there was a little bit of a miscommunication here between Johnson and Coker.
Yeah, let's watch here.
Hugo Gallas has used up all of his 9 lives, unfortunately. This race.
Yeah. Let's go back and watch that before.
Find out who that car in pit lane was while you.
That was Will Van Stearns.
Was Stearns? Yeah.
Yeah. So here we got 2 of the votive cars, actually teammates, and a third car right behind him. And oh no, fratricide.
Yeah, that's very, very unfortunate for when you're trying to put yourself up in a favorable spot, and yeah, it's just you might have missed the call a little bit, or you're maybe looking at something and drifting a little bit to the right. That's what I think happened there. So I think this could be the end of Shane Coker's race, as he was collected in that early incident, used a faster pair. So Turner Johnson will get going, and Hugo Gallas will also get going again.
And watch this, as Hugo just had no place to go. He had a car to his inside. He had no place to go there. And Gary Lover just barely escaped. And there you see, after they hit the yard of bricks, and then Coker unfortunately comes over on his teammate. Oh, Gary Lover just misses it. He had to actually take some evasive action. Watch this again, and we'll watch at full speed. Mind you, Gary Lover has a head full of speed with the draft there, so he's like, whoa!
You have cars pitting now, Gary. I think the leaders are going 60 laps to go. The fuel save is on. So I think that we're gonna try some different strategies here if I'm not being a little bit too overstepping, but we like to see these fuel strategies happen. This is what Indy's all about. You always put yourself into a window where something may go on. I think 60 laps is plenty, especially with the lower fuel tank settings that we have in these cars for this particular series. I think it's possible.
And coming off of pit road first is going to be Luis Nunez. But Will Stearns, he was on pit road when the caution came out, so he was past the entrance, so he was still able to stop. He's going to cycle all the way to third spot. Brubacher pitted at lap 23. He is staying out. Mason Mitchum pitted on lap 24. He is staying out. So some fortunate, at least for Will Stearns, he cycles to the top. Just because he came down pit road and had fortunate timing, he was already past the entry point when pit road closed, so you could complete your stop, and he did. He goes to third spot. Brubacher and Mitchum's going to stay out, knowing they still have to make those extra stops to make this 250-mile race.
It's all kind of happening right now, especially if you find yourself with a free pit stop and you join the back. That's best case scenario. So I think Will Stearns definitely has changed his fortune a little bit. He may not be as high up as he wants to be, but you get your pit stop out of the way, and you can also go into a fuel safe situation where he's at as well and probably still make it. I think we're going to go green next time by. I believe the lights in the
and we will there we go. We'll get a better camera angle here. And let's see. Probably a good time to remind everybody that if you're just joining, this is P1's broadcasting of the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by the Joy Driving, coming to you from Indianapolis. For the Watchman Indy 250, we've now completed 41 of 100 laps, just shy of the halfway point a little bit. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. The next race for us here on P1 will be our new Monday night triple header, starting with Mark Murphy and Jacob Collins at 8 p.m. with the iRacing IndyCar Open Series Monday night top split. Then at 9:05, it's me and LGN bringing you the new Onyx Racing League and its Lotus 79 Series. They will be at Legacy, Michigan. Whew, that's going to be a good one. And at 10 p.m., it's Jacob Collins again with the brand new iRacing official Indy NXT. I call it NXT, but it's the Indy Next Road Series because I'm a wrestling fan and habits are hard to break. But the Indy Next Road Series Monday night top split. So it's the past, present, and future of open wheel racing on Monday nights here on P1. It's all starting at 8 p.m. Eastern time, so don't want to miss it. The Dark Horse Racing Series is presented by the Joy of Driving. You want to follow Mark Cohn's Sim Racing Adventures, full of sharp driving and sharp wit. Subscribe on YouTube or follow on Facebook. All the links you need in the description. And of course, tonight's Indy 250 and the Dark Horse Racing Series is presented by the Joy of Driving, so make sure to check him out. Also, tonight's race is brought to you by 4D Racewear and Simrack Market. Now it's time to go green here at lap 42 of 100. Brubacher, Will Stearns, Luis Gonzalez, Nunez, Stouffer, Albrecht, your top five on the restart. Oh! Almost contact between Stearns and Luis Gonzalez Nunez. Going into one. Oh, Stearns wants to slide down in front of him. Wow.
Almost contacted into two. I thought that Luis might, Luis Gonzalez Nunez has a whole different attitude going into this race. As we go into three, there was almost another little dust up there. I believe that's all correct. That's behind.
Nunez, as soon as he's cleared him, he's like, I'm slicing up in front of you and giving you the dirty air.
I think Luis has something going for him tonight. He knows he's just outside of winning this championship, but that's not any excuse for him to say, hey, I'm out of this Indy 500 win here. He's going to go right after Yari, and I imagine as soon as they get on the back straight, he's going to take that lead back. Let's check on how Stouffer is doing.
Stouffer's right up there in that group. He's in fifth spot.
In fifth place. Yes, he's bringing Povolonis and Craig. Oh, there's contact in turn three. Eric Schaus got hit again. Oh my goodness, he had contact with John Martins there. I have no idea how they avoided that incident. There was just bumper cars going into turn three there, and I don't think that was anybody's fault. I think there was just sort of a checkup with the two wide up ahead of him. And man, Schaus hit John Martins very hard, and somehow they kept it going.
And right in front of Murph, too. Right in front of Wags and Murph. And Murph is, that caution has kind of helped him out, get back into the cycle of things. But he needs to fight through this battle to get back up to the lead. But Will Stearns, now your leader. Here comes Brubacher to the inside.
Look at Eric Peterson making moves as well. He's made his way past three cars in the last two corners, and he is getting a little bit feisty as well. Eric Peterson's a previous winner of the season as well, and he's going for another one, and he might get two more going into turn one. So Eric Peterson's moving forward now. He's finding himself getting up close to that top five.
He gets underneath Povolonis and moves up to the lead of that group. Just a reminder of the season, Schaus won at Kansas. John Martins won at Pocono. Wags won at Gateway. Peterson got his inaugural maiden win in the series finally at Iowa. In round four, Luis Gonzalez Nunez won at Kentucky. Stouffer won at Auto Club for round six. Jeff Heisong won at Michigan for round seven. Craig Forsyth, the last winner at New Hampshire. Those are 8 races, 8 different winners.
Eric Schaus, Matt Wagner, contact, turn four, very, very, very close. I think if it wasn't contact, it was very, very slight contact. Matt Wagner goes for the move on the inside of Gary Lovern going into turn one.
Whoa.
Very, very close there. Schaus is really going forward now. He wants to pick up these spots as fast as he possibly can, and I'm sure he's feeling a certain way after that bumper cars in turn three on the a couple laps ago, but they have to work together. They're losing time to the cars up ahead of them.
Yeah, and remember, the draft window for everybody watching on these cars doesn't extend the 1.5 that it does on the IR18. It's more like 6/10 of a second, really. So you need to be really on top of the car in front of you as they were looking and jockeying for position through the yard of bricks area, down the front straight. But Murph is leading this group now, and I'm thinking the way I'm reading Wags right now, Wags is almost a rear gunner for him.
You know, I was trying to look for damage on Eric Schaus's car, but as I was looking for damage on his car, I saw he was getting feisty there. So I don't think his car is damaged at all. I think his car is just fine as he's putting himself right into the middle of this fight here. And poor Gary Lovern's like, you guys are...
Oh, there it is! And it's Schaus and Lovern, and they're going to go into the inside grass in turn 4.
Eric Schaus is flipping over and over. Oh, no, that's not what Eric Schaus wanted for this championship.
And that is day done for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, you could tell just by how he was driving, especially with the last lap where he hit Matt Wagner in turn 4. He's saying, I need to get to the front of this pack. And sometimes you just have to let your feelings and emotions of getting to the front of a pack just sit behind you and say, okay, these guys are going fast enough. They will work together in such a way that gets us up there. But every once in a while, you're like, I feel like I could be the fastest car if I just get in front, and I will also be out of trouble. And unfortunately, sometimes that just gets the better of you if you're too aggressive, and that's very unfortunate for Gary Lovern, who was just saying to himself, I want to just be out of everybody's way. I just want to ride with you guys. I'm sorry I'm here. I don't want to swap draft. You guys are all race winners here, and unfortunately it just collected him. So that's very unfortunate.
So that is day done, and that's really going to help the championship bid now of Murphy, with Schaus now second in the points, your defending series champion coming into this season. His campaign, unfortunately, is over at lap 48 here at Indianapolis.
I think everybody's going to pit here. The fuel save is kind of out of the question.
Oh, no, not everyone.
I was just going to correct myself, actually. The fuel save is still a thing, and it's an easier fuel save now, but you're going to see people try and get some track position now. So I take my statement back. I was trying to think of it as a 200-lap race, not a 100-lap race. Everybody's going to be doing a split strategy now to try and get either track position or just filling their car up to go full tilt.
There's Turner Johnson getting the lucky dog wave around. Will Stearns, your leader in the Van Halen car, and he is currently 11 laps into his stint, so it's not like he is tight on fuel. He has probably more than a half a tank right now. So really, this is a good calculation to stay out and keep the track position. Luis Gonzalez Nunez 9 laps into his stint. Albrecht, as well as everybody all the way down through Hugo Gallas, are either 9 or 8 laps into their stint. So they still have quite a bit of a run to go before they need to come to pit road again. The first of the cars off pit road that are on the new strategy is Brubacher in 10th spot there. There he is in that iRacing car. And that's going to get him to about lap 75 or so, give or take, for his final stop.
You know, one thing I want to mention, Gary, is I can't believe that we're only halfway through this race. There's been so much action. There's so much action that's happened in this race. I feel like we've been here for an hour already, just racing. And well, I guess technically we have been on the air for almost an hour, but I'm saying this race feels like we've been here for quite a bit of time. There's been such action, and everything that we're used to seeing in Dark Horse has come true. We thought it was going to kind of be a straightforward race, doing a little bit of a fuel save here, fuel save there, but it's been anything but. So we trudge on here. We're halfway point at the end of this lap, which we will be going green on. So we have 50 laps left here. I think some cars are on that fuel save are going to be trying to keep that same motion going. It's a little bit easier now, but we got the double strategy happening, and we have no idea which one's going to be the payoff.
Gallas and Murphy, Gallas and Mason Mitchum came to pit road. I just saw Murphy drive by. He is now at the tail end of the field. he had a extended pit stop. He might have just stayed there and waited a little bit. But he is now back at the end of the field now. We'll reset the field here for you momentarily as we're going green here. We're at lap 50. We're coming to 51. It's Will Stearns, your leader. Then it's Luis Gonzalez Nunez, Chris Albrecht, Chris Stouffer, Casey Povolones. If we were to go 9 for 9, then we are in a position to see Stearns win, Albrecht win, or Povolones wins out of the top 5. Edson Santos is in 6th spot, Pahutsky in 7th, Jari Brubacher in 8th, Peterson 9th, Forsyth 10th. As we're getting ready to go green. Santos, if he gets a win, also, he would continue the streak as well of 9 for 9. So here we go, lap 50 to coming to 51, green flag, and we're already kind of fanning out in the back, and here goes Luis Gonzalez Nunez to the inside of Will Stearns, going into 1. He ducks back in, takes a shot on the outside now, trying to get some clean air. Here comes Povolones, here comes Stouffer blinking, here comes Albrecht. All in line right in front of the Riley Children's Hospital Suites down the backstretch. Will Stearns decided to take a middle lane and have everyone work around him. And here goes on the high side, Luis Gonzalez Nunez going into 3. He's going to clear him. Well, not quite. Stearns stays to the inside. We're side by side into 3, into the short chute. Stearns is very low in the short chute. Down to the low side and turn 4. Down the front stretch, Will Stearns going to stay to the inside, back to the middle portion of the racetrack. Here comes Luis Gonzalez Nunez, right behind him, Chris Albrecht at dead heat. Oh, we got wrecked at the line!
I think Povolones got... Gary, after you were done with your dissertation there, I was just going to mention, we have not mentioned anything about Edson Santos tonight, and he's just been kind of one of those quiet cars tonight, but unfortunately, the bump drafts here did not work. That is exactly what happened. Edson gets turned around by Povolones, who was just giving a little bit of a push there, and that push did not work.
Oh, Clindy almost. I'm going to watch from Clindy's point of view. And also part of that is Stouffer had a big blink. And then when he came back, him and Brubacher were kind of in very close contact. In fact, I think they ghosted into each other for a little bit. That could have turned into and that was unrelated. That could have turned into something bigger.
That was completely unrelated. That's something that just kind of happened as well. But Stouffer reappeared in the middle of a car flipping over the left side of his side pod. But there was contact between
look at that.
him and Yari.
Yeah,
Yari did actually get a little contact.
Yeah, watch this. It's Brubacher to the inside, and it just that little momentary lag is kind of what saved everybody here from this. And this was, I think, unrelated to everything. He blinks out, and then he comes back, and then he's slowing down, and Brubacher ghosts into him a little bit. So a time where netcode, we don't want netcode to take over, and it doesn't. Now, whether or not that possibly damaged Brubacher's car and Stouffer's car, we don't know yet.
I'm looking right now. I don't think I saw any. I don't think there was a lot of damage there.
I don't see any either, so I think everyone might have
just
gotten a
look
little
at the
lucky
car was
there.
inside. Yeah, the car was inside, but I'm looking at the damage now, and I'm not seeing any side pod damage or anything. Yeah, I'm looking for it, but I don't see it. But it might have been one of those. It happened and then it fixed itself. Your favorite? What do you call it? The iRacing forgiveness or something that I hear you in the classic IndyCar series podcast.
That is Luis Gonzalez Nunez. He birthed that phrase. He said it's called iRacing forgiveness.
I think there's another term that you use. Anyway, doesn't matter.
iRacing forgave him. Yeah.
Yeah. The guy, especially in the classic IndyCar series, which you also commentate on, you notice that happens all the time. The car is completely crumpled. Like, oh no, it's fully healed. It's fine.
I also call it the transformer effect, where everything snaps back into place like a transformer.
I think there are certain buttons you push on the steering wheel that no one really knows what the buttons are, but the buttons are there.
Just about every game has like an up, down, down combination. So maybe there is one. Gary Lover.
No comment. I raced the classic IndyCar. I ain't saying nothing.
Gary Lover getting the wave around. as we are now under caution here at lap 54 here of the Watchman Indy 250 from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We are just past the halfway point. It has been quite the interesting race. Currently, Edson Santos, Turner Johnson, Lewis Hayes, and Coker all showing meatball flags. I believe Coker has checked in from the infield care center and says that I believe he is effectively done for today. And then we also have Schaus, who was in an incident about 10 laps ago. His day is done. He is second in the points. Your points leader is back in 14th spot. There he is. Just trying to run this thing out and get to the end. So now it looks like for a possibility to get in third in points, to maybe move Peterson from third to second now at the end of this race right now. So Peterson looking at his best season ever here in Dark Horse with a win and possibly a podium finish in the championship. But still we have just less than half of a race to go and a lot could happen. Peterson's in a position to maybe get the championship as well if a lot of bad luck bestows Murph.
You know, I was going to say something before. I feel like if I had gotten my Edson point out before, something may have happened a little differently. So I'll get my Peterson point out now that Peterson also has had quite a good race. He's been methodically being opportunistic is the word we're looking for here, Gary. He's been opportunistic in these situations where cars have gotten into it a little bit. He's moved the way forward. Eric Peterson is not someone we see as an aggressive driver a lot of the times. He's usually a little bit more on the conservative side, trying to kind of mind himself and stay out of trouble, but he's found himself behind cars that have been messing up quite a bit. Has gotten him these little spots, picking up spots little by little, and we saw his breakout win earlier this season, and I think that if he keeps it going now, he might have a shot at something later on down the road in this race. If anything is to be said about how this race has gone so far, I think our next 44 laps or so are going to be very, very exciting. I want to like pit stop, but that's just me being selfish. So I'm going to commentator uncurse that, and I hope we keep ourselves going for the next 44 laps here.
All right, getting ready to go green. Stearns is your leader. Pace car getting ready to leave the race course. Put the field under his command. Waiting for the command to go back to racing. Nunez second, Albrecht third, Pahutsky fourth, Stouffer fifth. And we are back at it at lap 55 here in Indianapolis for the Watchman Indy 250.
Craig Forsyth has found himself kind of at the bottom of the top 10 as well, but he's got Peterson, lucky Mr. Peterson up ahead of him, so hopefully...
Oh, Peterson goes from high to low and gets a good run on JP.
That is a great move that Peterson just did. I think Forsyth just gave him a little bit of a push sort of thing.
Oh, here comes Clindy!
Here comes Clendy on the inside. Peterson's stuck in the middle. Makes his way through it. Forsyth has no retort for that at all. Clendy makes his way up into, I guess that's P7 or 8 now.
Yeah, that's P7 for Clendy.
It's P7, so he makes his showing here after starting from the pit lane. He makes that move coming down on the inside. Eric Peterson into turn 1. Peterson's probably going to give him that spot. He hangs on the outside, but Clendy's going to have that inside run into turn 2, and they are still in contact with Stouffer and Pahutsky up ahead. So there's a little bit of a draft envelope here. Peterson's going to get the draft, stays in the right spot.
That was Vitor making an evasive move on the backstretcher, along with Indy as well. Right in front of them, we got Stouffer and Pahutsky, who have lost contact with the top 3. Top 3 now starting to pull away. It's Luis Gonzalez Nunez, Will Stearns, and Chris Albrecht now. Your top 3, and they have broken the draft envelope.
It is so interesting. Chris Albrecht always manages to find himself right in that spot where he has no one behind him. He's just kind of hanging out behind whoever's doing the drafting up ahead of him. It's such a great experience to be in that spot where you're saying, oh, I got to push it a little bit to try and keep up with these guys, but somehow he manages to find the right amount of draft on the green flag. So watch Chris Albrecht. I think he is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Yari is stationless in turn 3.
And let's see what happened. He was racing around Indy.
It's Indy Kirchenbauer. I wonder if
Oh,
there's a failure
no.
there. I
No,
wonder if
yeah, there
was
might have been some mechanical on.
some issue because I, you know what, Gary? I almost wonder if Yari got like the wall and it slowed the car down. You know, you have that rub against the wall and it slows the car down a little bit more, and Indy is just kind of following it and says, "Oh no, there's a car slowing down. I got to move." And next thing you know, he hits the left rear. That's what that looked like. That's a very odd incident. And you know something, Gary? This is really playing into this fuel save strategy here.
We're watching. Let's see what happens. Yeah, he just driving down the backstretch and grabs a little too much of the wall. Not kind of what we saw with Tony Kanaan one time where he just kind of noses into the wall. I think he just caught a little bit of it. And that was enough to drag him down speed-wise, and that puts Indy into the back of him. This is kind of watch this. Indy he grabs a little bit of wall, and Indy's there, and then net codes into the back of him.
Sorry, we have to go look at Mark Murphy. Mark Murphy has had another lapse. He just drove himself into the wall in the back straightaway under caution. I don't think there's damage to the car, but what has gotten into Mark Murphy's driving tonight? He's had a fuel issue, and now under caution, he just kind of drifts himself and bounces off the barrier. I don't see any damage to the car, but what is happening here?
Let's just watch again. We'll play it back full speed.
What a very odd race here we have going on.
And it happened on the backstretch. Yeah, here it is. Here. What? Wow. And you know that. Keep in mind. I don't know. I mean, keep in mind they're rolling at 60 miles an hour. This is highway speed for what we would normally be if we were on the expressway or something. And you know when you're on the expressway, you look at the radio real quick, and then you look up and you're half a lane over. That how fast that can happen. I mean, that's kind of what happened there. He probably was looking down at a black box, making sure that when he comes to pit road this time that he gets fuel, and that might have been exactly what happened or something.
You know that's what got him wrong in the last time around, and I don't know if can you check if he used a fast repair now? Was there damage?
Let's see. No, fast repair has not been executed.
Okay,
in fact, the highest person in the running order that has used the fast repair is Gary Lovern in 11th spot.
Yeah, there's something going on with Mark Murphy's run. He's not locked in, not like Luis Gonzalez Nunez, who we have as our leader right now, and who we've seen just be saying, "I am getting to the front. I'm getting to the front. And I'm getting to the front as fast as I can."
And we'll still need one more stop to get home. There's no fuel save here.
Yeah, and all those cars that made sure that they topped off on the, I guess it was 2 or 3 cautions ago. They're not, they're still sitting in the back of the field. I think the fuel save, the cars that stayed out with about 59, 60 laps ago that we had that caution. I think that actually seems to be the strategy. That might be something that is employed going forward.
So we are at lap 61, coming to 62 for this restart. It is Nunez, Albrecht, Stouffer, Forsyth, and now Clindy, your top 5. Peterson, Vitor, Wags, Povolones, and Gallus now in the top 10. And the pace car will pull off here. We're coming to lap 62. And the field is under the command of Luis Gonzalez Nunez, and he's on it early. He is not waiting and starts breaking away a little bit from Albrecht. Stouffer taking a look to the outside on Albrecht, going into one.
Albrecht makes the move, and he's finally said, okay, I've watched long enough. Cars ahead of me. I'm going to take the spot now. So move Albrecht up to second. He is kind of losing touch to Luis Gonzalez.
Oh, car on the wall on the backstretch. That's Vitor Guilherme. He got nosed into the wall by Wags, it looks like. We're going to have to go back a little bit further and watch this. Wags gets a run on him. Coming through too.
Oh my God, Jeff Haidong almost sideswipes him on the way down as well. Cleared, no damage there. Looks like Vitor is keeping going. We're staying green right now. Gary, there's a lot of these bump drafting maneuvers that are happening that are just sending cars that are not ready for it off to the side.
And now Albrecht is the leader, and right up now is Craig Forsyth. He's caught that group. He's to the inside. He goes to the lead in turns 3 and 4. And bringing with him is Clindy.
Yeah, Luis is definitely on the kind of boxed in right now. He's making his way. I think
and Clindy
Luis
to the bottom. We're going to go 3 wide into 1. Clindy with a head of steam, and he goes to the lead.
I think Luis Gonzalez Nunez now at this point says, okay, there's people that are much more intrigued than I am to getting to the front right now. So he knows what he's got to take to get there, and he's going to say, you know what, you three go for it. It's your time of the race now to really care, and I'll just wait my turn later on.
And now Albrecht to the bottom in 3 and 4, and he takes the lead over Forsyth. Peterson blinks out. He's catching that group. Stouffer blinks out. Got a lot of blinking out here. There's Forsyth to the inside. Forsyth gets the position going into 1. Albrecht just tucks in behind. Clindy now in 3rd. Stouffer and Gonzalez Nunez side by side through 1 and 2.
Yeah, Luis has taken a whole different demeanor now based on what he was doing in the first 50 laps of the race. You see he loses another spot, and he's not going for anything right now. Now he's just kind of hanging out. He's waiting for his time and his turn to do something, but it's just not at this very moment. And we have that upcoming pit stop, so maybe Luis feels very confident that he can get in and out of pit lane fast enough to outrun these guys and say, you know what, you just be aggressive on track. I'll do my stuff later on. So he's saving his stuff until the right time.
Well, let's take a look at the stint time. Forsyth 17 laps, Albrecht 26. So Albrecht's going to have to come to pit road anytime. Stouffer's going to have to come to pit road anytime, and Nunez is going to have to come to pit road anytime. Forsyth, Clindy, Peterson, they're on a slightly different strategy, and Povolonis actually is better than a lot of these guys. He's only 12 laps into his stint. Same thing with Gallas and Levern. They are 11 or 12 as well. They're still going to have to stop again, though.
I think if you pitted maybe 2 or 3 yellow flags ago, you're in your best spot because you pitted prior, and you're going to have less fuel to take later on. So that could make all the difference, especially if you're trying to save maybe 2 or 3. There's a wreck. Edson Santos flew over the pit wall. He is flipping through turn 1 right now. That was a very, very bizarre incident, Gary. As I was thumbing through where Mark Murphy was, I saw a car upside down. I believe that was Santos and I don't know who the other car.
Brubacher.
Jeff Haisong.
But we got Brubacher and Santos here on the replay, and then right behind us Haisong. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and then Brubacher and Santos just make contact.
That was a very bizarre incident from how I saw it. I was watching the back of that pack, and all of a sudden I saw a car in the distance taking air right over the pit wall. Yeah, I think Yari might have just slowly started to come over on Edson, and they just locked wheels, and around they went. That's a very, very strange incident. But
I'll watch Brubacher here.
I know we're going to take a look at it here, but as we watch it, I'm going to say that this is another time that cars may take a risk for a fuel save.
And a little net code, but and Haisong somehow morphed through it.
Yeah, I was wondering. I thought he might have gotten a piece, but I think he got out of it. I was watching him and I saw the car fly over the top of him, so I thought he was part of the incident there.
We'll watch from High Song here. Yeah, he netcode through it. Lucky. Maybe, I mean, there could be damage on his car. I'm sure he'll probably go get it looked at here on pit road. One of our winners earlier this season. But now we're back to caution once more here. And we are getting to that window of maybe making it on one more stop. And everybody's coming to pit road. Everybody.
Yeah, I think it's very close to making on a fuel save.
Hugo Gallas.
If you're in the back,
Gallas is staying out. Remember, he is on one of the lesser stints right now, the lesser lap stints. He only pitted about 14 laps ago. Casey Pahutsky also staying out. He pitted 9 laps ago. Mason Mitchum stays out. He pitted 8 laps ago. Will Van Stearns stays out. Getting the wave around, I believe that is Vitor. So he will come back on the tail end of the lead lap. So Hugo Gala is going to get some time at the points.
And I mean, Hugo, we thought that he wasted all of his 9 lives earlier in the race, and now he finds himself in the lead, which is such an interesting turn of events here at Indy. And Mason Mitchum, we haven't talked about him whatsoever tonight. How has he dodged all these mid to backpack incidents and everything?
He was actually in one of the early incidents, but since then he's kept it clean and green, because he has executed the fast repair. So has Lewis Hayes in 5th spot, so they're going for track position right now. And then between Lewis Hayes is Turner Johnson. He is a lap down in 19th, and then we'll see Craig Forsyth when he joins. There he is, right there. These guys slowly rejoining, trying to maximize every drop of fuel in the 95% capacity fuel tanks that we have for this race in this rule set. And then here comes Hugo Gallas. So they're all going an extra lap and then coming to pit road. And that will turn the lead over now to Pahutsky, who stays out with Will Stearns. And then they'll have the lap down car of Turner Johnson between themselves and everybody who just stopped, led by Craig Forsyth.
You know, I mean, I think these cars that are chopping up now are doing themselves big favors. They are able to easily save more fuel than the cars that pitted the previous time. So, yeah, you're going to the back, but, I mean, the way this race is going, Gary, we're not doing cautions yet, unfortunately. I think that the intensity is only going to ramp up, especially as the field has gotten themselves flipped. There are cars that are feeling slighted right now that have moved their way to the back. So I think that pitting now to do a fuel save is rich, and you may find yourself picking up spots little by little as cars ahead of you may need to do so. But these cars are hoping that maybe there's just 1 or 2 more cautions, that the cars ahead of them are going to run out of fuel before the end of the race. But you got to do something. You got to do something to set yourself apart from everyone else, and hope that that's a strategy that works. And that's what Indy is all about.
Hey, you want to join the Dark Horse Racing Series? The car is free. The league's free. All you need are the tracks and the drive. Click on the Discord link in the description to get started. This is the final race of Season 8, but there will be a Season 9 starting in January. There is not a schedule out yet, but it will be starting in January. Be looking for it. And if you're interested in learning more, make sure to join the Discord server. Casey Pahutsky, your leader. Will Stearns in second. Craig Forsyth, the 3rd car in order. 4th car in line. Chris Albrecht in 4th. Ken Clindy in 5th. And here we go. Green flag here at lap 70. 30 to go.
A little bit more of a broken up kind of restart there. Luis Gonzalez Nunez tries to make his move there on Gary Lovern. Makes a spot through turn 1 there. He's lost quite a bit in that whole rotation there. But I think Luis Gonzalez Nunez has kind of figured out what his strategy is going to be from here. So as a loose touch to the pack up front a little bit, we see that the top, 6 or so have broken away.
And right now, the top three have kind of put a little bit of a gap on themselves, and Forsyth in third. And that top three, again, that includes a lapped car, but Forsyth in the draft, pulling himself back into the battle here. Current battle right now at the point. It is Pahutski and Stearns side by side in the one. Oh, Pahutski slides right up in front of Stearns.
Some of these cars that haven't run up front yet this race may find themselves in a little bit of a whole different scenario. How exactly you manage a race. It all just kind of happens as it happens, and you have to figure out what to do.
Turner Johnson staying high through three. Trying to allow the faster lap cars on the lead lap around, but right now Turner Johnson showing a lot of pace and keeping up with the top two. Right behind him now is a train of Forsyth, Albrecht, Klindy, and Stouffer. That is back to sixth.
Yeah, Stouffer's car kind of disappears and reappears quite a bit there. Hope he gets that sorted soon, but he is sitting at the back of this pack right now. I'm wondering, do I just kind of sit here? Do I try and see what holes open up for me later on? Klindy goes for a move down the inside. Gets the spot on Albrecht and also gets the spot on Forsyth. So Klindy is now in the mode where he feels like he has to move forward.
Klindy got a big win here a couple weeks ago in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series with their Indy 500 here. Riding along with Luis Gonzalez Nunez, currently in seventh spot, as he is just behind this group by 9/10. He's out of the draft envelope. So he needs to get a little bit closer by about 3/10, and he could probably pull himself in there with a little aero help. But he needs to drive him down in the meantime.
Yeah, Turner Johnson seems to be the one that's holding the crew up a little bit. His rhythm is not very different to the cars up ahead, but he's just catching the dirty air. So I think Klindy's going to start making his way forward here eventually.
Riding with Klindy down the front stretch as he's right behind Turner Johnson. Turner just trying to stay in the draft of the cars in front of him. That's why he did conduct to the inside. Klindy cracks the throttle a little bit into one. It is Stearns and Pahutski, your leader. Car right in front of you right there is Turner Johnson. One lap down right now in 19th. I'll tell you what, Klindy is not really pushing the issue. I've heard Klindy, really send it sometimes. Whoa! As he gets a big run on the bottom over Turner Johnson. And I think Turner's going to stay high and let Klindy go.
You were saying?
I was saying, I thought Klindy was kind of taking things easy because we didn't hear the over revs of when you kind of get the car in the zone where you can make a pass. It was almost like he was backing off a little bit just to try to save a little bit of fuel.
What a run for Will Stearns and Casey Pahutski up here, kind of running this race right now. And Casey's been up there many times this season, but something always seems to get him down right at the end of the race here. And it's good to see him make his way towards the front and have a really good run here. And I've seen Casey run very, very smart races in the past, so don't count Casey Pahutski out of potential good finish here tonight.
Car's getting really high up in the gray, coming off of 4. Luis Gonzalez Nunez almost up in there. Turner Johnson almost up in there. But yeah, Will Van Stearns kind of playing the role that we've seen of Stephen Wilson or Stingray Robb in some of these Indy 500s as of late, where they get a lot of lead time at the front late in the race. Maybe on a different strategy, just trying to roll the dice to get something to work here.
Not sure if Klindy is doing any fuel saving or anything like that, but he's pulled that Luis Gonzalez Nunez, Gary Loverd, Matt Wagner, that whole group has now caught up to them. So now we have a big battle for the top 2 are out front, but the rest of the top 10 are all right there.
And also our points leader coming into this race is Mark Murphy. He's now up to 10th.
Indy Kirchenbauer is in the back of this pack as well. And look who else has joined the fray. We have Casey Povolonis, who now he's P12. So we have P3 to P12 all right within a blanket here. And you're going to have the mixed strategies coming in head-to-head here. The guys that are saving the fuel and the guys that are saying, I'm going forward. So hopefully they can all figure out where exactly they stand in this group here. But, I think Turner Johnson is not able to really hang.
Yeah, he's falling back a little bit there, yeah.
He's dropped off the pack there. I think he was not able to really tame that dirty air so much. So We'll see how this pack phases out. They've got single file for now, but I think that might change on the back straight.
And we saw Stouffer blinking out again, and at a time when he blinked out, there was a whole bunch of cars in proximity with him, and it's like, uh-oh. But here comes Wags. Wags is not going to stay behind the blinking car much longer. He wants to go to the front and now move Wags up in the 6th spot.
Polonis on the inside.
Luis Gonzalez Nunez into the wall off of 4, but he's still going. Stouffer blinking again. Oh, jeez, you just don't know where he's going to reappear. Peterson, purple lap, 228.5.
A very unnerving situation, especially when you're trying to figure out where exactly the car is going to be. It just kind of reappears on the outside. You hope that he's giving you room on the outside, but yeah, it's a very unnerving situation.
Oh, Murph sends it does a 2-car send. That's what I'm trying to say is he gets Albrecht and Stouffer. He doesn't want to follow Stouffer in the blinking car much longer. He had the help from Wagner to pull him down the backstretch and into turns 3 and 4, and he gets it done. And right now he's right behind Craig Forsyth for 5th.
Indy Kirchenbauer is making moves also at the back of this field, or the back of this line here. He's gotten by Gary Lovern and Povolonis. That battle that they were having has come to a stop, but Stouffer's blinking car is also falling back through this field, and luckily enough, no one's really gotten into him yet, but I think Stouffer is going to continue to kind of fall to the back of this pack here. Kirchenbauer is moving his way forward. Plenty is still the front of this group here as the leaders continue to just gap them doing the swap draft situation.
Well, so those leaders, they have to pit as we ride with Kirchenbauer. And Kirchenbauer, we hear him lift, a big lift. So I think from 3rd on back, we got a fuel save. I think 1st and 2nd are just sending it because might as well.
They have no other choice but to do that.
Oh, Kirchenbauer, the big run. 3, 4, 5 cars he passes. Up the 6th spot. Caution. Hugo Gallas. Hugo Gallas and Turner Johnson. That's what the incident was. We'll watch this. Hugo Gallas going into turns 3 and 4 on the north end of the racetrack. And what happened? He catches dirty air. Turner Johnson to the inside, and Johnson gets the dirty air and just nudges Gallas out of the way, and also involved in that one a little bit, but not getting the full effect of it was Vitor Guilherme. But Johnson and Gallas into the wall. Johnson doing the immediate tow.
I was getting ready to chime in there, Gary. That Kirchenbauer pass down into turn 3 there. That's a clip for the P1 broadcasting channel. We have not seen someone just pick up spots like that, just without any sort of draft help or anything. That was quite a run he had there, and everyone gave him the room. He had a little bit of the side-by-side action, but you could tell that, yeah, he was lifting on the previous lap going into turn 1, but he wanted to move his way forward, and he did.
Yeah, watch this. Watch this again here. We'll just watch down the backstretch. Kirchenbauer in the blue car. This is what he did. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the wreck happens behind him. Big send.
That was incredible, especially with how these cars are. You can't really change the no push to pass. There's no bars or anything changed. It's saying, okay, everyone's kind of saving fuel and doing this. I'm going inside, and I am going to spook all of you, and you're going to give me room. That's the best part about racing in a pack in Indy, is that if you think everyone ahead of you is doing a little bit of a lift, you could just pick up spots like crazy and then sifts right into the middle of the line that you thought you'd be at the back of before.
All right, so that now puts Clindy at the front. And now I guess we got to start thinking about it. Can he make it? Are we going to have are we still going to see more cautions? That's the one we really don't know. That's the big wild card. Can he make it 15 laps into his stint and 17 to go here at Indianapolis? And I'm going to bring up my calculator. It's going to be on my screen here. And going to be 17 plus 15. And that's right at 32. And that's at the extreme far end of what we thought a stint length would be. We thought a stint length would be closer to 26, 25, 26, 27, something like that. This is 6 laps past that. That's a lot.
It's going to be close, that's for sure.
And do they decide to come to pit road and just top off? Those that stop now here at lap... Actually, no one stopped. Pahutsky, Stearns, Vitor, Peterson, Hysong, Mitchum, and Lewis Hayes all stopped on lap 84. They could go to distance now. They're good to go. Their pit crews are done for the season. They can pack the tools away. They don't have to stop again unless maybe there's a full send at the end where they throw on a new set of tires and, you know, stickers and send it, as the podcast says.
Intensity is only going to ramp up from here, Gary. I hope we can finish this race out on the green, but there's a lot of cars that are stuck in this mid-pack that don't want to be there.
It is Clindy, your leader. Wags now in second. Forsyth third. Kirchenbauer in fourth. Murphy, our points leader, up the fifth. Ooh, Albrecht almost into the wall in the backstretch, much similar to what Murphy did. Then we got Luis Gonzalez Nunez in seventh. Stouffer, who is having blinking problems, he is in eighth. Povolonis in ninth. Lovern in 10th. Right now there are still 17 cars of the original 25 that started. And everybody that is currently you see on the racetrack is now on the lead lap. Green flag coming out this time, coming to lap. Let's see, we got 16 to go, going to 15 to go this time by. Green flag in the air.
Green flag.
And here we go for the restart. If you're just joining us, you're watching P1's broadcasting coverage of Round 9 of 9. Championship Sunday of the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by the Joy of Driving. Coming to you from Indianapolis for the Watchman 250. We're currently, Clindy leads with 15 to go. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. The next Sunday night race for us will be next week when the Vote of Indy Oval Series resumes its Season 3 schedule with a stop at Las Vegas. Coverage starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't miss it. Speaking of Clindy, he's your points leader in that championship. He's looking to clinch it up early here. But right now, Matt Wagner to the point.
Matt Wagner makes his way to the front. I actually might have recruited myself to race in the next votive race here, Gary. So we might see the wood-paneled car make an appearance. And that would be pretty cool to join that series and see what I could do.
It's Wags, Forsyth, Clindy now. Kirchenbauer as they go down the backstretch, separating two portions of the Brickyard Crossing Golf Course. Clindy up the middle, 3 wide. Here comes Murph.
It is ramping up. It is ramping up here, just as I predicted. We got 13 laps coming this time by. We got a lot of action happening. Everybody's going for it right now, and the Indy win means everything to these guys. So I can only imagine that we're going to see these guys really going for it. We're going to go 3 wide into turn 1 again.
And here comes Murph to the lead as he slides up in front of Clint. He gives in the bad air. But right now, go ahead.
I was going to say, remember Murphy is winless this season. And
yes.
A win at Indy could mean everything. We're going to see probably more 3 wide action going into turn 3, maybe even 4. 2 by 2 they go through turn 3. Chris Albrecht is there in the mix. He's been in the mix as well.
All race night long, yes. And we got Forsyth, your leader. He has a win this season. Murph, your points leader, no win this season. Clindy, part-timer, no win this season. Albrecht in his first race this season, I believe. Oh, and there goes LG into the wall. And we got Hysong doing a grind on the top of the wall. We got Peterson involved. We got Say Hey Lewis Hayes involved. What the heck happened?
It was a very benign incident with Luis, but the incident with Jeff Hysong happened behind them. So I think that there was a four wide going to turn one. We're gonna see that one. That was a whole different incident that we saw with Luis Gonzalez Nunez.
So there's Nunez in the middle of your screen. Stouffer goes to the inside. Awful netcode. Just awful netcode.
Yeah, Mason Mitchum made a four wide going down into turn one, and it's not going to work. There's just no radius for the car to turn whatsoever.
And yeah, and there Mitchum goes to the inside right along pit road. Guys, if they're the sign guys that used to be down there, they'd be ducking for cover and four wide, and it just runs out of room. And Hysong, Peterson, and Say Hey Lewis Hayes all come in contact. And that's unrelated to what happened with Luis Gonzalez Nunez, as he's trying to get out of the way of everybody as he has cars tumbling around him.
So we have two different incidents that happened here between those drivers. No one's pitting now, as we've mentioned before. There's going to be a blast to the end here.
And now I hear one car, I'm not sure who it is. Someone's trying to burn fuel off. So someone has too much now. Gary Lovern. Well, now we have 10 to go. Lights are still on the pace car, so we'll probably go racing with 8 to go, which is a 20-mile run to the finish. Lindy, no win this season. Murphy, no win this season, but your points leader. Forsyth, 1 win this season. Albrecht, I believe in his first race in the series, double check that, today. Yeah, this is his first race. I do not see him in the previous league history on Sim Racer Hub. Kirchenbauer, he is now, he's winless, but he's been on the podium so many times to the point that he's like, I'm tired of finishing on the podium. I want to get a win. Wags with a win this season. Povalonis still looking for that maiden win. Stouffer with a win this season. Lovern would love a win. Pahutski would love a win. So still a number of drivers. We could go possibly 9 for 9 this season. Carry the streak into next season. That'd be something. Lights are out on the pace car. We're going green next time by.
So we have 8 laps to go, as you mentioned. It's going to be one of those situations where these cars that are in the middle of the top 10 are going to try and stake their claim right now and see what they have for the end of this race. I think Indy Kirchenbauer is one of the hungriest guys we've seen in this pack. So we'll have to see what he has going on.
Lindy takes him way up to the top of the wall. Pace car is off field. Is under command of Clindy. Here we go. Coming to 8 to go. Green flag in the air. How are we going to decide it here in the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by the Joy of Driving here in Indianapolis?
One thing we have to remember is that Clendy started from pit lane, and he went a lap down on the start of the race. So for him to be in the lead right now just proves that you can be anywhere in this field and have something going for you. So Clendy from pit lane to the lead right now.
And here goes 3 wide into 3 and 4, right up the middle. Forsyth, Clendy tucks in behind him. Forsyth side by side with Murphy. This is championship implications riding at the point right now. Murphy holds the bottom line, and he's going to hold the lead. He's going to hold the inside pit wall down the front stretch, trying to lead this lap, coming to 7 to go.
And we have 2 non-winners in the season in the top 3 right now, so we could keep this streak going if Forsyth is not the winner, but we have a bunch of hungry cars that are 4th on back. Kirchenbauer very close to the Chris Albrecht coming out of turn 2.
Looks like Kirchenbauer is kind of getting shuffled out. Yeah, shuffling out of line there. Albrecht to the inside on Wags, and he's going to get the position. And now, he slides right up in front of him, but he's clear, and he's going to try to get the run on those 3 leaders right in front of him. He'll rejoin this battle. Coming to 6 to go. Big contact, and we got his Povolonis and Stouffer. And we're going to have a sprint to the end here as we're reckoning about Will Stearns is involved.
I was just noticing that Povolonis and Stouffer did have contact in turn 3 as well, or maybe it was turn 4 actually. They got a little loose. There was a little bit of netco loose there, but then they actually did come together on the front straightaway. And yeah, Will Stearns got a little piece of Povolonis as he went by. I think that was just it was just Will Stearns that got collected on the front straightaway.
Just ran out of room. All right, so we'll watch from an angle here. And I think, I don't know what happened here. I just, kind of the graphic was in the way. Go back and watch another angle. Not working. I think they just kind of come together. Just maybe they were just kind of shooting for the same portion of racetrack, or maybe Stouffer. I don't know. I don't know. We'll let chat make a decision on that one. And they just slide down in front of Will. Poor Will. Just jeez, such a good race for him to end up on your lid. And there we see some drivers coming. Yeah, we're going to have 4 to go here. Or coming to 4 to go. So we're going to probably have 3 to go to finish this race. No, lights are still on the pace car, so we might have 2 to go to finish this race. And Murphy is the leader. When the caution came out, he had the lead. So it's going to be Murph, Clindy, Forsyth, Albrecht. And that's Peterson getting the wave around. And Wags now in 5th. So Murphy, points leader, but winless. Clindy, no wins this season. Forsyth, win last race at New Hampshire. Albrecht, he's in his rookie race, actually, so no wins at all in his first race, just hanging out in the top 5 all race long. Wagner, a win earlier this season, I believe it was Gateway. Yeah, Gateway. Indy, no win this season. He'd like one. Povolonis, same thing, no win this season. Not Povolonis, excuse me, that's Bahutsky. Povolonis is out. Povolonis, well, he's back on the racetrack. He's 1 lap down. He wishes in contingent for the win. The best thing for him just might be a 13th place finish. Just unfortunately, he's locked a lap down now. Murphy coming up, and Murphy and Clindy, kind of John.
Got 3 laps to go. It's going to be 2 laps to go when we, yeah, so it looks like the lights are still on, so the lights should come off the pace car at this moment.
Yeah, should go off the pace car, and they are off. You see.
Oh, I hope we can get a nice green flag finish here, Gary. We've had a lot of action and a lot of incidents that have happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tonight, so.
And to be honest, next flag is going to end this race. There is no green-white checkers in IndyCar racing, rightfully so. This is a 250-mile race, and you're going to get a 250-mile race. They're going through the portion of it. Do you see the pictures on social media that they were digging up around that turn 2 area that they just drove through, where they found some old pictures, some bricks. Yeah, some old bricks. Pretty cool. Masonry archaeology. If I can say that right. Masonry archaeology. There we go.
Yeah, that was a mouthful,
yes.
Gary.
We're going to go green with 2 laps to go. It will be a natural green-white checker. It will be Mark Murphy. It will be Clindy. It will be Forsyth. It will be Albrecht. It will be Wagner. That is your top 5. Last chance to get it in before this is it for the season. But make sure you like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. This is the Dark Horse Racing Series in their DW12 League, presented by The Joy of Driving. Last time.
What a poetic situation this is for Mark Murphy. Winless on the season, but comes to Indy and is in a good contention to win this race right now. If he is able to be the last of the first-time winners this season, caps off a championship run here, able to secure a win if he's able to with 2 laps to go here.
But he's going to get a big run on Murph down the backstretch. Murph with the big lead. Murph going to the inside, trying to protect for all it's worth. Holding the inside all the way down the backstretch. Here comes Clindy. He is going to do Newgard on the outside. Tries to send it, but he can't quite get it done. They're going to be wheel to wheel. Going through the short chute into turn 4. Coming off of 4, we're looking at the white flag. Here comes Craig Forsyth. He's in the mix. We're going to go 3 wide at the line for the last lap here for the season at Indianapolis. Craig Forsyth leads just by a nose in the 1. 3 wide in the 1. Murphy down low. Clindy in the middle. Here comes Forsyth on the outside. We got 3 more lining up behind him. Clindy now leads coming off a 2. Down the backstretch. Murphy to the inside at a disadvantage. Now here comes Craig trying to find a hole, but he's just not finding a spot. Here comes Wags. He's going to send it to the inside. He contacts with, and he takes out the points leader. And Murphy, Craig Forsyth is going to come out the other end unscathed. Right behind him is Craig Albrecht. Albrecht to the outside, coming to the checkered flag in the air. Last lap, and it's going to be Albrecht at the line there. What a win!
Wow, Gary, wow. I just let you take the wheel there. I knew you were going to call that perfectly. Chris Albrecht, someone who has hung back the entire race, found a way to get himself right up in the right time to take the win there. That was incredible. That was a wild finish there. Chris Albrecht started that last lap in 5th place, and he managed to avoid that small incident there in turn 3. I think Wagner had literally one car length to fit himself into turn 3 there, and unfortunately it just tipped Clendy and it just tipped Mark Murphy. And I think even with that incident there, Mark Murphy is still your champion.
All right, so let's go back and watch this here. And this is what we're coming to the white flag. And Murph just grabs a little bit of Forsyth, but Forsyth keeps it. Trying to get you another angle here. And just a little netcode incident there between Wags. And then Wags has to go to the grass. That basically binds up his momentum. And they're still wrecking behind. Povolonis goes to the inside wall. Wow. And actually, I want to show everybody the finish. We can get a better angle. Let's try something from the blimp. That doesn't work very well. The blimp angles are awful here at this camera set. All right, let's try. This might be the best angle I'm going to get here, so we'll go back a little bit. Yeah, this is going to be your best angle. There you go. That is. Do it one more time, and then we will do. And there you see it right there. And if I change the camera real quick and I come back to that, it'll clear it up. And that is your margin of victory right there. There's your screenshot. And we'll keep that open here, and we will get into today's final results and get into the interview room. Chris Albrecht, first start in the series, 1 for 1 with a win at Indianapolis, beating Craig Forsyth by, let's see, that's tenths, hundredths, 22 hundredths of a second. So Craig Forsyth so close from breaking the string, but we go 9 for 9. Andrew, 9 for 9, 9 different races, 9 races, 9 different winners. Talk about parity. Indy.
Quite an incredible series we have here.
Yeah, and Indy, another podium. He's not going to be happy with that. We'll talk to him here in a second, but he comes home third. Luis Gonzalez Nunez, checkers of records for Luis today. He comes home fourth. Gary Lovern with a good start and a good finish. Top 5 for him. Vitor up to 6th. Eric Peterson 7th. Mason Mitchum 8th. Casey Pohutsky in 9th. And Wags back to 10th. Murph, Clendy, Stearns, Povolonis, and Stouffer your top 15. And we got Hysong, Gallus, Hayes, Johnson, and Santos your top 20. And then we're going to wrap up with Brubacher, who led portions of this race. Schaus, who was one of the championship challengers coming into this race. John Martins, Coker, Teed rounds out your 25-car field. All right, so we're going to queue up some replays here. All right, and do we have, I want to refresh the points just to see. No, points have not been updated yet. All right, so we'll be continuing to monitor that. So we at least know the finishing order of the race. So we'll start there, and then we will get into the interview room on the champion last. So we will start with Indy Kirkenbauer here. And we'll bring him up right now. And here he is. Indy, another race, another podium. A heck of a finish there. Talk about your point of view. A bit of a rough race for everybody. Lots of contact out there. Elbows were out.
Yeah, it was a really sketchy race. Pretty hard to pass. It was weird because you couldn't really make a pass on the bottom. You could, but it was really difficult, and you had to have the certain circumstances of clean air, and I know I screwed up once. I destroyed teed. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I washed up, hit the apron wrong. That was my bad, but yeah, and the rest of the race, I know everyone just spun there. I saw Clendy spinning. I don't know what happened, but I mean, yeah, and then I just avoided it. I probably could have given it a little more throttle. I was worried that Matt Wagner didn't have it under control and was gonna go back up, so I kind of just like babied it, trying not to let him hit me, but he did, and I feel like I could have given it a little bit more gas there and maybe gotten a draft from Craig and Chris. Like, I lifted way too much for that wreck, but you know, I'm happy with the third. Finally, not second.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, Indy. It looked like the move of the season really was when you made that 4-car pass going into turn 3 before one of those cautions there. It seemed to be a measure of trying to figure out if you were going to try and hold back and save some fuel or save some tires, or if you were going to go for everything. So when you made that big pass into turn 3, did you understand that everybody ahead of you was maybe saving a little bit and you had an opportunity to take that inside run? Or let's talk through that big pass you had there about I don't know, about 2/3 of the way through the race.
Oh yeah, Stouffer was in front of me. I saw him checking up, and I just said, "This is way too big of a checkup," and I just kept my foot to the floor and moved down to the inside. And I did not expect to pass that many guys. And I got under Murphy, and I thought I was gonna clear Murphy off of 3, maybe not. It was gonna be tight off of 3, but I would have definitely got him off of 4 anyway if it would have stayed green. But then the caution came out, which that was perfect because then I knew I just got this spot and I don't need to fuel save anymore. So that track position was important. But once it got up there, all those guys were really aggressive. I didn't want to wreck anybody again because I know I wrecked Teed and that was an accident. So I just tried to play it safe, and I'm honestly glad I did because if I would have gotten a few more positions up, I feel like I would have been in that accident. So I'm glad I just laid back and then ended up getting P3. 80% of the time in this league, I've gotten on the podium, 60% second place. So I just want 2 spots better than today.
Well, congratulations on getting to the podium again. We just know it's a matter of time. Any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone I want to say hi to for finishing third here at Indianapolis?
Yeah, my go-kart sponsors are Fremont Functional Fitness, BG Emery and Associates, the Alley and Clyde, and Make Something on YouTube.
Well, congratulations once again. We will see you when the league starts back up again in January. But a great way to end the season with a podium finish and maybe some momentum going into a strong start for next season. Congratulations, Indy, and we will catch you at the next one.
Yeah, I'll be in all the votes I can.
Oh, we're looking forward to you. That is Indy getting on the podium again, and then we come back to Craig Forsyth now. We'll bring up Craig Where is Craig? There's Craig. Bring him down, and here is Craig. Hey, Craig, congratulations, P2. I know you wanted the win, so close, almost breaking that 8 for 8 streak that we're on, and just coming up by 22 thousandths of a second short. But talk about your race. You just had a very patient race up there, but a lot of the race looked very aggressive by a lot of other drivers. As I was telling Indy, elbows looked like they were out for this one.
Yeah, that's very much not the way I normally drive, that's for sure. So yeah, I didn't understand the high aggression levels early on in the race. There was a lot of laps to go. I didn't know why people were pushing so hard to get to the front. Anytime someone pressured me for more than 2 or 3 laps, it was like, okay, here, just go by. I'm just going to sit behind you and fuel save some more and wait for the pit window or a caution, because one of those two things and invariably a caution would happen. So yeah, Chris and I, every time we were planning out, we were planning out the next green flag pit stop, it would get nixed by yet another caution. It was a little unfortunate there were so many cautions. I was just going back through them here, and there were some pretty big ones, some pretty big wrecks. But yeah, no, I mean, coming to the last lap, it's every man for himself type thing. So Matt had what looked like the run of the universe coming, and then huge net code, and then I had net code with Kyle. I think that's what turned me just slightly, and that was just enough. It turned me just enough that I lost my top speed. And that's what gave Chris. I mean, Chris had a huge run building. He just needed the road to clear up for him, and with everything that happened below him, the road just cleared right up. And because I had been just slightly turned, that was enough to put me down on speed on the coming down the main straight to the finish line. So he was able to clip me at the line. So good on him.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, Craig, how hard was it to decide when to go, when to save? Because it seemed like you mentioned, the aggression level was very high throughout the field. So was it a matter of trying to pick up spots where you could, or did you have just kind of a set pace you wanted to run and say, okay? I think you already kind of answered this question in one respect, but in your own terms of trying to figure out how to get to the front, was it just a matter of, I know that the road will open up for me eventually, or was there a special trick you had up your sleeve later on in the race?
Well, we were really cognizant of how easy it was for the groups to get broken apart on restarts. So neither Chris or I, we did not want to even though a splash would have made it easier on us, we didn't want to have to restart from 12th and be susceptible to having the packs get broken up into 2 separate groups, and then have all it would take is one, it staying green, and we would never catch back. There wouldn't be enough time for us to catch back up. So it was better we just decided, we were going to stay up at the front. We had to be a little conservative on the fuel to make sure that we made the number for initially. But I mean, I can't remember. I think it was with 20-ish laps to go, we knew we were good. And then immediately a caution came out, and we were extra good from then on. And at that point, it just made it even better that we had chosen to stay out, because it was keeping us up in those front groups, which was, with all the restarts that were going on, it was very important to be at the start, to be at the front, to make sure that we didn't fall back.
Points have been updated. I just want to refresh the screen here just to be sure. Yeah. Craig, you will finish 3rd in the championship. 25.
I will take it.
25 behind the leader, only 1 point behind second place. Second place is Peterson. Murph wins by 24 points. Then it's actually the battle for second was Peterson was 24, you were 25, and Schaus was 26. So 3 points separated P2 in the championship. That's how tight it was. But coming off the summer series that we had in 2024 as champion there, to come home second here, it's a pretty good repeat there. I know you're looking for just a little bit more. I believe we're going to spin back up here again in January. So going into next season with a lot of momentum, a lot of positive energy. Any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone want to say hi to before we let you go? Finished second in the race and second in the championship.
I think you've just made me realize that getting turned on turn 4 is what cost me second, because that cost me the clean race points. No, I mean, I got to think. Eric and everyone that puts on Dark Horse every year, like it's dark. The DW12 is near and dear to my heart. So I love racing this car. So I love that we're still doing series that do this car. So I will always be there for the DW12. So good on them for putting on the league. We'll be back. We'll be back next season for sure. Jim over at 40 Racewear for sponsoring multiple IndyCar leagues across iRacing. The whole team, yeah. Chris and I had a good time, but no, and you guys at P1 for putting on the broadcast. We appreciate rewatching it, and we hope the fans at home had a great time watching the race. I mean, it was close, tight racing the whole time. It was dangerous racing, but that's what makes it fun to watch virtually.
Yeah, that's what makes it a great simulation. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, Craig. Well, we will see you surely in another race in the future, but definitely when we kick off season 9 sometime in January. Congratulations on the P2 today and P3 in the championship, and we'll catch you at the next one.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Andrew. You guys have a good night. Stay safe.
And we'll just drop him down in the general. He can go back to wherever he wants to in the audio channels. And now let's bring up today's winner, Chris Albrecht. And I just want to check a stat here. He only led 4 laps today. 4 laps. That's what he led to get the win. We'll bring him up. And here he is, Chris Albrecht, winner today by 22 thousandths of a second over Craig Forsyth. First race in the series, first win, 1 for 1. That's the best way to start in your rookie run in a season. And you did it at the best place of all, Indianapolis. And you got a big week, next 2 weeks of Indy coming up here with the Elite Racing League. And what a better way to kick it off with a win here in Dark Horse in your very first race of the series. Congratulations. Talk about that run to the finish.
Thanks so much. Yeah, it's really fantastic, isn't it? I definitely came in with no expectation, being my first race here in Dark Horse. But fortunately got a good qualifying spot and was able to stay in the lead pack throughout the whole race for the most part. But I was kind of on the outside looking in there the last couple laps, 5th place, 6th place. And when Wags and I sucked up to the leaders, they were 3 wide. And I just picked the outside lane and figured, let's hope for the best, and probably not going to make a pass, if any. But that's the lane I picked. And it fortunately was the right pick because whole inside wiped out. I went back and looked and it was net code. Unfortunately, that sucks for those guys that they got taken out like that. But then when it was just Craig and I, then it was just a matter of sucking up and passing him down the front straightaway. He's a little bit of a sitting duck there, so I got fortunate. But yeah, cool result. This is my first iRacing League win, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
Hey, go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, Chris, congrats on the win first off, but I did notice that the way that you kind of had things going in the race is that you were just kind of, like you said, just kind of watching what you were doing and watching what the guys ahead of you were doing, trying not to get in the way and everything. Did you have some sort of strategy to just try and pull away, like be the car at the back of the pack that you're in to pull away from the cars behind you so that they didn't have any sort of run coming up on you to catch up to whatever pack you were in? Because it seemed like you were always at the right place at the right time to just kind of be right at the back of whatever front group there was.
Yeah, I was trying to position myself on every restart where I could see the leader. And then, as soon as the leader goes, then we all go. And that helped me not get left behind on most of the restarts. I think there was one early on that I didn't do a good job, but every others I seemed to be able to keep up. And that wasn't always the case for the cars behind me. So then we were able to get a little bit of a gap. And then early on in the race, that was nice because then I could just sit and fuel save, which ended up not mattering, but I could sit and fuel save and not have to worry about losing position. But once we got to about 10 to go or 15 to go, and I was still needing to do a little bit of fuel save, then like Indy blew by me. I know he passed 4 cars at once, etc. So that kind of bit me there. But then once after that, we were good, and I was able to get back into that top 5. So that worked out.
Well, Chris, this is a chance where you get to shout out any fans, any sponsors, any friends, any loved ones you want to say hi to for getting this big win at Indianapolis. Go right ahead. We know you've been working up to this. We've noted that your pace here at Indianapolis, starting in May for the Elite Racing League, you had some good pace there. You were in the Fast 6 or the Fast 12, but qualified up front there. Probably going to be fast again this season or this coming week here in the Elite Racing League, and just on a whole big roll right now. So go right ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, I want to shout out Dave Huck. He's the one that got me into league racing to start with, so he definitely deserves credit there. And then tonight was racing with Clindy and Indy, Casey, Gary, Hugo, Mason, that group. So I really appreciate the chatter that we had during the race. And I don't normally race DW12, so I didn't have a custom paint, but want to shout out F5 Challenge. We'll be sponsoring the qualifying day at Elite Indy 500 coming up this Thursday. So pretty cool organization to be a part of, a good fitness activity group.
Congratulations on the maiden win in the series. It makes us go 9 for 9 this season. Every single race had a different winner. Congratulations. Hopefully we'll see more of you next season, and we'll see you later here, or at least over on the Elite Racing Network, and when Lewis and I bring you qualifications for the Warriors for Peace IndyCar Series and the F5 Challenge qualifying day for the Rebelist Photography Indianapolis 500, the 15th running of that race here on Thursday. So congrats, and we'll see you then.
Thanks. See you guys.
And now we still have, we're not done. Normally this is where we end the program and we talk about the race and we talk about the next race, but this is in the season, so we now have a champion to crown, and we will bring him up right now. And now we'll have, unfortunately, probably not what he wants to see, but there will be an asterisk next to his name. No wins, but champion. It's all about consistency this season for Mark Murphy, getting the championship, going down in the same frame as Tony Bettenhausen Sr. in 1958 and Tom Sneva in 1978 of national champions in USAC with no wins, but still getting the big trophy at the end of the season. It's like you didn't win a single battle, but you ended up winning the war.
I mean, I think I still get the same. I think the trophy's still the same size and the check's still the same, ain't it?
I don't know what the check is, but the trophy is definitely the same size.
Yeah, the trophy. I don't think there's any money for this, but the prize, the trophy, from Mark Cohn and the joy of driving is something that I'll cherish for a long time, Gary. It's they don't take that away because you didn't win a race, and it's not because we weren't fast. I mean, I think I looked at the thing. I ran 1,200 something laps, and I bet I led half of them. But just circumstance and whatever played so that we didn't get a chance to win a race, and that's okay. But you keep bringing the car home, and you keep bringing it home in the top 5, and you keep bringing it home on the podium, and you keep showing up, and you keep doing those things. That the points pile up, and we knew that Schaus had to win the race, and then he had problems, and then I caused my own problems and recovered from those problems. And if we could have just run the first 10 laps and the last 10 laps, I'd have been happy. But so for those of you, my rig is set up in such a way that I have a pair of headphones plugged into my microphone. It's the same way I broadcast. And when I race, the headphones get tangled up, and when I hit the wall there, I was trying to untangle my headphones because they were strangling me, because the cord was wrapped around my neck. And so I was trying to undo them, and I brushed the wheel with my offhand, and it turned me in the wall. And originally I wasn't going to take my fast repair, because I knew that could be important. And it was like 8 minutes of damage. And so I had to take it. And so that was mistake number 2. Mistake number 1 was, I don't know how, but I didn't get gas on the first caution, which that was dumb. But be that as it may, it all worked out. We wound up back at the front where we should have been with 10 to go. And I saw Wags coming, and I said, man, I don't want any part of this mess. And I backed out, and I just couldn't avoid what was there. And it's unfortunate, but it's it's just, this league is tough, man. I mean, you got to finish up front. You got to run good. You got to lead laps. You got to, you got to do the right things. I mean, I scored, I look at it, it's, the margin was 24 points. Well, I had 18 bonus points, and I think the next person on that list was Peterson with 14. So it wasn't like we weren't running up front. You know what I mean? We didn't back into it. Just circumstances meant we couldn't win a race, but that's okay.
I got two questions for follow up, or actually a comment and a question, and then I'll turn it over to Andrew. Stat wise, you've completed the most laps this season out of everybody, 1,229 laps. Next closest was Peterson with 1,187. So you beat number of laps completed was considerably more than just anybody else. And then miles completed, you completed 1,932.15 miles, whereas Peterson had the second most amount of miles completed at 1,869. So again, a pretty considerable distance between the two of you in terms of laps and miles completed. And that might pretty much sum up the season for you, as just being around longer than everyone else, I think kind of matters there. So not necessarily where you finish, but sometimes getting to the finish is part of the story. Back to the question on, were you working with Wags at all? I know that when you came to pit road, he came down with you. So were you working with him?
Yeah, that's the LC Motorsports connection. Mark Cohn. So, his deal, yeah.
So in that last, you're all running for the win. I get it. But when you see Wags sending it to the bottom in a 3 or 4 wide situation on the last lap going into
I lifted
into 3 and 4, and it could impact your championship, which it almost did. Do you just sometimes you see that coming and you just want to yell in the microphone, Wags no, let me get to the finish. But I know he wanted the win, and I don't know how much you were helping each other and everything, but as the gloves are off, and I respect that. But at some point, do you tell someone you're working with, no, don't send it 4 wide on the bottom because you're going to wash up and hit somebody, and that's kind of what happened. Do you ever want to yell into the microphone and say, don't do that, and he sends it anyways?
Not at all.
No.
Matt Wagner is a great friend. As is Clindy, as is Forsyth. Immense amount of trust between everybody up there. If he feels like he needs to make that move to win the race, then by all means, more power to him. At that point, I knew that barring something absolutely insane, that the end result was going to be the same for me. So I backed out of the power and let Matt have it, let him have his chance. And unfortunately, the netcode gods decided that it wasn't to be for him or Clindy, and that's what it is. But I don't begrudge him for that at all. Matter of fact, I'm happy he went for it, and I'm happy he was going fast and having fun and running good, and he deserves that. He's a great driver. So no, I mean, yeah, you might be on the same team, but I mean, you've never seen me and Seb or whomever. We'll tell each other what we're gonna do, but we're not gonna call our shots and say, hey, you have to follow me home. That's not the way this works.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Congrats on the championship, Mark, and well deserved. Sometimes the mark of consistency is what it really takes to get yourself up there. So that you just showed exactly that it can be done. Someone like myself also that doesn't get a lot of race wins focuses more on just really good finishes, trying to make sure that they are there at the end just for the sake of getting a championship. So you did it. You pretty much proved everybody wrong in the sake of you need to win 5 races a season to get the championship. So on that vein, I know
that's just the thing. I could have won 5 races, right? Like a caution here, or a caution here, or a break there. I could have won 6 or 7 of these. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I wasn't running around at the tail end of the top 5. You know what I mean? Like, it was just unfortunate circumstance. Had that last caution not come out, it's going to be a shootout between me and Clindy and Forsyth. You know what I mean? It's just an unlucky break that put that in that situation. So it's not like I was slow. You know what I mean? So but go ahead. I get your point, right?
Well, so I already know the answer to this question, but I need your confirmation on this. When you went into this race and you're sitting on the grid tonight, what was more important to you? Was it a championship run or was it an Indy 500 win?
Trophy, championship trophy, always. And maybe it's different because I've won my 500. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I suppose, but that's
I mean,
not the
I've won
answer
my,
I thought you
I've
were
won
going to
my,
give me. So, like you can have one 500 win, but it's something that if I understand how these drivers go into these races, it's like, you may have gotten the 500 win that you wanted, but whenever you're at Indy, that's kind of your main focus. And I
I mean, I
understand
would have
that
loved to have won a
it's
race,
fun, but
but the folk,
yeah.
I would have loved to have won a race, and had I not won the 500 in this car, and had I not won the 500 in the 18, it would be different. But I don't feel like I need that anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, you were in the race, right? Like you and I dueled for that race. I mean, I don't mean to sound arrogant about it, but I've won the biggest one there is to win, right? So I'm not gonna. I would never sacrifice an overall championship for one race, even if it's Indianapolis. As much as you want to win and as much as you want to perform here, the championship is always more important. And I mean, I know that's probably not the answer that most people think, but it is. Like I lifted out of the power deliberately there because I saw the crash coming, thinking I needed to preserve the trophy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional. I understand. Somebody told me that I'm the first person to hold the Area 51 IR18 and the Dark Horse DW12 trophy at the same time since Nick DeGroot. That's pretty cool company, man. That's pretty wild, actually. And I'm the first person. Like I didn't know that until just now. So somebody texted me that, but it's always about winning overall, right? Like you can lose every battle but still win the war, and that's the point, right? Like the prize here is to win the championship. It's not to win one race. Now, Andrew, to your point, if there was a much greater prize to win this one race than there was to win the championship, which is the way it is in real life, right? I mean, what this race pays $3.5 million to win, and the championship pays $1 million, then of course I would place more emphasis on this one race than the championship trail. But here, yes, it's Indianapolis, but the greater prize is the whole thing. Does that make sense, boys?
Got it. I hear you. Now is, I guess, the chance that you get. Always, Lewis teases when you're in the booth or when you're doing interviews. You always like to talk. Well, now is a chance that you definitely earned the opportunity to talk by getting the championship. I know you have lots of people that you want to thank. Friends, family, sponsors, all that type of things. So take all the time you need. Champion of Season 8 here of the Dark Horse Racing Series, their DW12 series, and it's sponsored by the Joy of Driving. So go right ahead and a little rip.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you got to thank the Joy of Driving, right? Mark Cohn, great dude, just awesome guy. Got to thank 40 Racewear as well. Jim Herrick is another really amazing person. He and his wife were a ton of fun to spend time with in Chicago, and thank you to them. Everybody at Indy Alliance and the Global Alliance, especially Seb Alexander. You know, if it wasn't for Seb, I probably would have quit driving 2 years ago. And he's a big reason that I've rediscovered going fast and having fun. And it doesn't, I don't have to. I always used to put huge amounts of pressure on myself to win races, and I'd throw the steering wheel if I finished second. And now it's much more about hanging out with the guys and having fun and having a drink and enjoying yourself. And thank you so much to Seb for that. Without that, I would have probably gone crazy a long time ago. And that's why the red, white, and blue iRacing means so much to me. It's because of Seb Alexander. And so if he's watching, man, this one's for you, man. Everybody at Blackmagic Studios, you will not find a finer group to paint your car than David Dunwoody, Brian Sharp, Colby Pierce, all of that gang. You won't find a finer group of people, and you will absolutely not find a more amazing person than Fish at Admin Box. If you're a race controller out there, and I know there's some in this series, and I know Wags has one, and if you're a race controller and you do these things live and you don't have an Admin Box, you're missing out. You really ought to go get one. They are just premium pieces of kit for not too much money. And lastly, I gotta give some love to Andrew Wood, because that dude is one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. Gary, every time I get upside down, and Wood gets a picture of me upside down, right? Do you know that?
No, go ahead. Tell me all.
He does. And not only that, but invariably the reply is, "What is wrong with you?" Andrew, have you figured out what is wrong with me yet?
No. So I'm going to keep getting pictures until I figure it out, I suppose.
But I love calling races with Andrew Wood. I love watching races with Andrew Wood. I love going to races with Andrew Wood. That dude is an amazing guy. And so Wood, love you, man. It's cool being up here in a booth, and I got to thank you, Gary. That P1 logo flies proudly on my virtual race car, my street car. I'm gonna get Wood to put one on his go-kart yet.
Let's do it.
I don't know if we can afford wood.
All right.
I'll put it on the underside. I'll put it on like the bottom.
Oh, okay.
I'll put it on like the bottom, so when he flips the thing, we can see P1.
There you go.
Kind of like the Miss Budweiser, the unlimited hydroplane.
Let's not worry about that. I might get injured, but that's cool.
Hey, have you ever watched an unlimited hydroplane race, Andrew? You know what I'm talking about? The 30-foot boats
Yes.
powered by the Chinook, right? So the Miss Budweiser, right? The famous boat. They sold the escape hatch. It had a Budweiser logo on the. There's an escape hatch on the bottom of the boat, right from when they flip over, so the driver can get out while they're upside down. They sold the escape hatch and put a giant Budweiser logo on it. And I kid you not, on every one of these cars, there's a racing chicken on the underwing somewhere under the car. On this car, I think it's under the rear wing, but yeah.
All right.
Fun time. I thank you.
No, keep going. If you got anything else to say, man, you earned it. Go right ahead.
Lastly, thanks to Mom and Dad at home, and thanks to the wonderful Miss Natalie. I'm pretty happy guy tonight, and I'm pretty sure I'll be happy for a long time because of her. So I'll let you boys close out the show. Wood, we didn't get it upside down today. I'm disappointed in myself, but we brought home the trophy, and that's the big thing, right?
Yeah, like I said,
tired of listening to me.
I
know.
He's
tired of listening to me.
He's ready. Out. He's ready for. He's got a work day tomorrow. I got a work day tomorrow.
I've had a long weekend, so yeah.
But
I appreciate everything you say, though.
The war, it was won definitely by you. So congrats, man. And we will see you probably. And we know you're kind of winding down the active driving portion of your career, but. We might see you again in January when this thing kicks off again. So until then, enjoy it, and we'll see you Monday night here on P1 with the Indy Open Series with their next stop on their championship.
Heck yeah, G. Keep going fast and having fun, boys.
There you go, Mark Murphy. And we'll move him down there. Final thoughts here from Indianapolis on the race, Andrew, and final thoughts on this championship. Where Murph gets the dub, takes home the big trophy without a dub all season. Just being there and outlasting people longer than everyone else and racing more than everyone else is ultimately kind of how this thing was decided.
Well, I was mentioning in my question there to Murphy that sometimes the consistency is key, and those that can't just go out front and win races, you got to find some way to stay interested and stay in the championship. And he has proved to everyone that no matter what championship you're in, as long as you stay in it and you stay relevant, it could pay off for you. So I'm happy to see that it's paid off for him. He did a really good job this whole entire season, and never got that win, but it was still fun to see if he could actually do it. It's one of those, can he do it? Can he do it?
Uh-huh.
Can he actually finish second and third every race while everyone else burns around him, essentially? So that was really great to see. And as for the season, I did miss 2 races there, unfortunately for some other commitments I had, but it was really, really fun to call this with you, and I appreciate you asking me to sit in the booth with you and call these. It's a lot of fun. So this is a very competitive series. You can't just point to one driver every week that you know is going to cross the line first, and that's what makes these series so much fun to call, because there's so much that can happen during the course of a race. And it's unfortunate we didn't have a green flag pit stop tonight. I really would love to see a green flag pit stop at Indy. It always kind of shakes things up a little bit, especially with these draft envelopes being so small. The pit stop is so crucial. So I really wanted to see that and see who really worked on their pit ins and pit outs, but that's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, it was a great season, and I can't wait for the next one. And hopefully we get some new faces around too that really could shake things up and cause a stir.
Yeah, like Chris Albrecht, who won the race today, and that's a way to definitely send yourself into the next season as an early favorite to win the championship. Well, let's get on out of here, give everyone back their Sunday nights. And so that's it for tonight and for the season. Once again, your podium here from Indianapolis for the Watchman Indy 250 is Chris Albrecht with the maiden win in his first start ever, and Dark Horse gets the win here. Craig Forsyth comes home second, just narrowly missing breaking the race winner streak, where we've started the season now 9 races and 9 different winners. So we'll go in the next season. Can we go 10 for 10? And Indy Kirkenbauer comes home in third with another podium. Your season 8 champion is this guy, Mark Murphy, edging out Eric Peterson, who had himself a great season, and that should go with it. Really, that needs to be mentioned. He just had his first win. He had a string of pole positions in the middle of the season from Iowa, Kentucky, Auto Club, Michigan. Every single one of those races, Eric started from the pole, and also in those string of races, he got his first win. And it's just a great season for him, and I'm sure he's very happy. He said he was putting in the work, and you could definitely tell it paid off with a podium championship finish here. Join Andrew and myself again in January when the Dark Horse Racing DW12 series returns for Season 9. Stay tuned to the Dark Horse Discord or the P1 channel for the upcoming season information and streams. You can find everything here on YouTube at youtube.com/@P1 Broadcasting. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of tonight's race, and if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more P1's other iRacing programming, including our open wheel Oval Tuesdays. Easy for me to say. Our Open Wheel Oval Tuesdays double headers with the iRacing IndyCar Oval Series and the Indy Next Oval Series. They're going to both be at Richmond this week. The IndyCar Oval Series starts at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by the Indy Next Oval Series at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you like iRacing Open Wheel Oval Racing, which we kind of hope you do, you're watching this, right? Then make P1 your home on Tuesday nights. Tonight's race from Indianapolis in the Dark Horse Racing Series is presented by The Joy of Driving. Looking for entertaining sim racing content, aren't we all? Look no further than The Joy of Driving. Follow Mark Cohen's racing escapades as he battles for wins and avoids wrecks with cat-like reflexes, with all the while providing commentary to make sure you laugh, cry, or do both. Follow along by subscribing to The Joy of Driving on YouTube or like his Facebook page at The Joy of Driving. Links are in the description. Tonight's race has also been brought to you by 4D Racewear and SimWrap Market. Check out 4D Racewear's line of made for sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the description. Also check out SimWrap Market. They're their go-to source for iRacing paint templates and broadcast resources. From clean base liveries to pro-level design assets, SimWrap Market has everything you need to build your brand on track. Visit simwrapmarket.com. Download, customize, race. Track cans for this race are provided by Whiplash Sim Cans. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash Sim Cans. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook or follow on X and Instagram. The links are in the description. For business inquiries to learn more about P1 and what we do, like us on Facebook. You can follow us on X and Instagram. You can follow all of our social links on Linktree. Check them out. They're in the description. So, for Andrew Wood, everyone here at Dark Horse and The Joy of Driving, I'm Gary Gatto saying to all, thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Once again, congratulations to our champion, Mark Murphy. Catch us again right here in January when we start this all over again for Season 9 and the next race of the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by The Joy of Driving right here on P1. Good night, everybody.